Hello and welcome to the What's Good with Gil and Larry podcast on this Oscars edition, second annual. Yeah, we got the usual suspects. My main man, Larry Loper, is up top. I got my girl, Michelle Cefatelli, down below. And my other main man, Matt Shackelford. Matt, how we doing? Michelle, how we doing? Larry, I know how you're doing. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
What's up?
I'm
Yes,
trying to
sir.
bring that pop and sizzle.
Yes, sir.
I'm ready.
Happens that Oscar-winning performance.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm available for weddings and bar mitzvahs. So this year's Oscars edition for the What's Good with Gil and Larry podcast is different than what we did last year. Not that I didn't like last year, but we're kind of, the four of us are kind of doing this top 10 thing, top 10 themes. We've been doing it kind of all year and started it last year. But then when we did the Oscars last year, almost to the day, actually, we got all dressed up and we did the making our predictions on who we want to win versus who we think will actually win. Now, that was a good show, except the little faux pas in it was that we didn't actually watch all the movies that were nominated. We didn't actually watch all the roles for the lead actor, lead actress, supporting actor, supporting actress. We didn't watch them all. So it's hard to predict when there's, 10 movies were nominated, 5 per actor and actress were nominated, but we've only seen 3 or 4 in each particular category, or 5 or 6 for best picture. It's hard to predict when you didn't see. Now you're going off of other information. What I did here was I came up with the theme of top 10 motion pictures that did win the Academy Award. So you're picking from the movies that you've actually seen. Okay. I'm not going to pick Casablanca, despite the fact that I know it's a legendary movie, because I never saw it.
Right.
You understand? I'm going to pick the ones that I saw. And let me tell you, I could have did almost my entire list just from the decade of the 70s, because all those movies were good in the 70s. Now, I've got predictions. I've got a couple of fun facts, things like that are related. I'm not going to do them all right now. But what I will say, as a prediction, I'm predicting that Michelle will have the most versatile list of movies, because I could see her watching from, I'm not going to say the 20s, but I could see her watching movies from the 30s until now. Matt's is going to be a little more outside of the box, I believe. And I think Larry, and don't take this the wrong way because it is not an insult, but I think Larry's will be what's expected. If you know Larry, I don't think it's going to be anything out of the ordinary. I have a feeling I could probably name 8 out of the 10 off of Larry's right now. I won't, but I think I can do that.
Probably could.
What I did do, however, is I made predictions. And I'm predicting Larry's number 1, Matt's number 1, as long as he didn't give it away when I saw him last time. If it wasn't the movie that he told me, then I think I got it.
Not that one.
Michelle's number 1. This is the hardest one. I'm probably wrong, but I'm going to say at least this movie is going to be in her top 10. I'm going to say it's her number 1. I'm probably wrong, but this makes it fun. Wouldn't be the first time I'm wrong. So I have 5 honorable mentions. They will be mentioned just before you reveal your number 1. I think everybody else came up with 5 except Michelle, because Michelle got 5 on top of her 5. I'd say that's cheating, but I'm trying to have fun with this. So before we get started, asking around the room, I'm going to start with you, Matt. What was, when you heard about this, how did you mentally prepare doing your list? Were you thinking about genres? Did you do the whole, let me look up all the winners, go decade by decade? write down the ones I've seen and I've liked, and then start crossing them off? Or were you like, no, there's tiers, and I'm just gonna write down the tiers, the A's, the B's, the C's, and then start canceling them out that way? And the reason that I ask it like this, because I'm gonna be honest about myself. If I did a top 10 movies that Gil likes versus a top 10 of these that won Academy Awards, out of my personal top 10, maybe 2 that have won the Academy Award for Best Picture might make my top 10. For me, I found a lot of good movies, but ones that I really was like, oh, I'll be honest, I found like 2 and maybe 1 honorable mention for me personally. However, who I do have as number 1, I also have as number 1 on my personal list. So that's me. Matt, how did you go about this process?
Pretty much, as we got done discussing it, I went and looked up all the Oscar-winning, like, Best Picture movies, not nominations. Like, you got to find the winners. And then I was actually pretty surprised how many of those I have not seen, because they're, Oscar winners. So going through the list was kind of challenging, because I kind of like weird, out there kind of B movies that are just kind of fun to enjoy and not necessarily for the, cinematic experience that it provides. So I pretty much went through the list of 96 of them, and found, like you said, found all the ones that I've seen, find the ones that I like, the ones that, and I moved my list around 10 times, like, I know I kind of like that one more than this one. And there was a lot of shuffling around. Even right before the podcast, I moved one up to another space because I was like, you know what? I can't justify it. So I moved one up. So yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot because, I haven't seen a lot of them. So definitely an interesting experience. It was fun though.
Did you see any that you were like, ooh, I've heard of this. I heard it's good. I see that it won. Let me check it out. Because this past week there were a couple movies that won that I had never seen before, and I rented them and I watched them this week.
Mm-hmm.
There were okay. Don't have to give them away.
Yeah.
Larry, how'd you go through the process?
It would have to be movies that I literally would watch today. Like, it's certain movies are classics to me. Like, and for me, I'm a history buff. So a lot of the movies that I'm gonna be into, I have to be into that time space. I really have to be like transported to. Me and my lady was talking about how just let's say America, for instance, all the changes that America came to get to where we are today, all the time periods. You know what I mean? So for me, that's what I base all my movies on, that and just my interest. I'm a history buff guy. Like, I really like history. And it perspectives. So a lot of mine is going to basically be perspective based. You'll get the theme as I go along.
Oh, cool. All right, I like it. And Michelle, I think I've said it before. I think your list will be the most diverse. I think you will cover the most ground. I know you said you've seen about 80 to 90% of these movies that have actually won. You watched over 70 and there's only been 96. So how did you go about coming up with your list?
I mean, there's a couple things that, always come to your head right away, but especially that there's a few that you always know they were like big deal best pictures. But I did go through and just look at the list of all the winners, and, I was like, oh, okay. And I kind of wrote things down. Probably initially wrote down like 40 movies that I was like, oh, that was really good. And then just, thinned it out.
Now, Michelle, for you, is it the storyline that gets you, or is it the director? What is it like about your movies?
I mean,
like get you.
Sometimes for me, it's like the whole thing, the whole package, like, the story, the way the cinematography is, the directing, the whole thing. But I was kind of like, when you were talking about the history and stuff like that, I do like a lot of that stuff myself. Like, I can lean that way. And I also like, your avant-garde stuff as well. But one of the things I always try to tell people, like, because you get a lot of people who are like, oh, the Oscar nominations came out, and like, I don't understand how, the most recent blockbuster superhero movie isn't on it. And just because a movie makes the most money doesn't mean it's actually any good, let alone the best movie. And it's just how it is, because what makes people go to the movies doesn't necessarily mean it's good.
Right.
And I think we've gotten away from actually good movies, like the way that there really should be as a good movie, and more about, let's just throw crap in your face, and that's fine, because there's escapism for a reason. But when that's the only thing that we're putting out there for the most part, it kind of sucks.
Well, I think we talked about it last year, where they should add another category or two for
Yeah, I think the Golden Globe did this year.
Oh, did they? Like,
Okay.
Yeah, it was
best
something like
superhero movie, best action movie.
they had some kind of like most popular or most
Okay.
like box office-y. I forget what they called it, but it was something like that.
Right.
But
Yeah,
I agree. I think there should be more categories because it makes more sense.
Yes.
Yeah, more categories and less, nonsense with the talking and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's so long. Like, they bring up how, there were awards from the night before and stuff like that. I'm like, if it was the night before, then you don't need to be talking about it now. I want this to be a big show. I want this to, to have the big ones, the motion picture, score, costume, cinematography, playwright, stuff like that. I don't need to know about, the stuff that I don't need to know about, in my opinion. No disrespect, but if you're going to have it on a Saturday night because it couldn't make it onto the main show for Sunday, then why are you using up segments saying, previously, last night winners? Why are we doing that then?
The other thing I was going to say too, what I noticed with this year's nominees, I think the streaming in a way is hurting it as opposed to helping it, where you would think that more people can see things. But I think what happens with the streaming is it might be more accessible, but people don't know about it. Where you go to the movies, you get your previews, different things like that. Because there was a lot of things, even for me, and I'm usually pretty good at knowing what's this year, where I was like, what is that? I didn't even hear of it.
Right.
And there was a lot of stuff that was on streaming services. So I didn't hear of it until the nominations. So why is that? And then that to me makes it, how is that going to be seen by people if there's just no proper, I guess, I don't want to say advertising, because I don't know that that's necessarily what it is, but maybe a little bit.
Man, if only this channel had a show with somebody doing movies that are coming or TV shows that are going to be streaming soon and giving a review of it, I don't know, like every week, so we can expect something like that, like something that's about to air, something that just came out, and then giving a review about it, and then doing a recap like, oh, this is what came out this month. If only this channel had someone, anyone at all, that would do something like that. Man, I know I would tune in.
Hey, was it like Roger Ebert, like how they come out every week and give you that review?
Ebert, yes. Yes.
It's kind of interesting.
If only that we had like our own,
we gotta come up with a not 2 thumbs up and not 2 snaps either.
No, but a more modern take. Man, if only our channel would go through a name change and add a show like that. That would be pretty cool. I don't know.
It sounds good. It sounds good.
It does sound.
I would watch personally.
I definitely would tune in.
So would I.
Yes,
I would hit like, subscribe, and definitely tell a friend.
All day long.
I would do that. Yup, and yup. All right. So you guys ready to get this crack-a-lackin'?
Man, great anticipation.
All right, let's do it. Like I said, I'll have a couple of fun facts in between. I'll be making some predictions. Here's one prediction. I believe we will all have one movie that is the same on everybody's list.
The same
The
position.
same movie, like when we did the I guess the Halloween one, where we all had the movie, not the movie, the character of that Jamie Lee Curtis played in Halloween.
Mhm.
That was on all four.
Laurie Strode.
All four. So I believe we will have a movie, one movie that will be on all four of our lists.
I don't know if I agree, but there is one that could possibly do that.
I'm predicting it. There is a reason. There's a reason why I'm predicting it for Michelle, which is not the same reason I'm predicting it for Matt, Larry, or myself. But I think we all have it. Just a guess.
Man, that's a shot in the dark, but okay.
We gonna find out.
That's why I said I only have one that could even remotely turn out that way. So
I think I'm gonna knock it out the box because of the movies I picked, bro.
Okay, well, we'll see. Michelle, as always, you are the lone lady, so you will go first. Then it'll be Larry, myself, and Matt, and we will go in that kind of rotation. So, Michelle, hit us off with your number 10 favorite motion picture winner for an Oscar.
okay, well, so my number 10 comes from 1993, and just so you guys know, I'm giving you the year of the movie itself, not the year of the Oscars, because usually they win the Oscar the next year.
Right.
In case there's any like, wait, I thought it was this year.
Right. Release date. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure. And I felt like, it just could not be left out. Schindler's List, Steven Spielberg director. It not only won the Oscar, it won the BAFTA, which is the British Academy Awards, and also the Golden Globe. I mean, I don't think you really have to say much about it. It's just like kind of like a perfect thing, especially when you get towards the end with the full black and white movie and then the little girl's red coat. I believe it's a coat. It's been a while, so
yeah. I saw that in the movies when it came out.
Nice.
I was a senior in high school, and that was also the first year that they opened up the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. So the movie came out, and then 3 or 4 months later, as a school trip, we went to Washington, D.C. for the day and visited the Holocaust Museum. So it was
that's pretty nice.
But what I will say about Schindler's List, by the way, did all of us see that movie?
Of course. You see it, Matt?
Years ago. Probably, I don't remember anything about it.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely saw it, man. Once again, it's a history thing.
Definitely was like on TV one day, and I was like, oh, Schindler's List. I should watch this. And I'll have to watch it again, but I kind of caught most of it. So one of them I never really saw.
What I will say about it, yes, it's an excellent movie. It's history, but I categorize this movie as a hard watch. This is one of those where, you get a couple of gut punches.
Yeah.
You really do. You hear about concentration camps and things like that and what were done. But when you see it and you think to yourself how there were certain people that just did not believe in treating other people like people because of race or whatever. I mean, they were treating some of them like worse than stray dogs.
But
it's always
it went back to the media, though, the power of the media, because that same kind of racism that you had, it didn't start that way. It literally didn't start that way. It was a propaganda thing, and it goes to show you, if I feed you like a baby, if I feed you enough, I could literally mislead your thoughts, because they didn't look at the Jewish people at that time as that. But if everything that you read in the media is saying that you're the reason why my life is messed up, you'll start to believe that. So it goes even deeper than just that whole system of how it. That's why I love history so much, because it needs to repeat itself.
Right.
You catch the trend before it
Yeah,
happens.
because people just can't bother to learn.
That part.
Yeah, and now you're hearing so much about certain people, trying to spill out, it never happened. This is all a fabrication and stuff like that. I mean, the only thing worse than it happening is people years later going around preaching that it didn't happen.
That part.
That is, I mean, I guess, we didn't have slavery and we didn't fight wars to get our own independence, and it's just, come on, man. Like conspiracy theory. Let's relax, man. We all know that over 6 million Jewish people were murdered, and Polish people, and
Yes,
they were trying to take over the world.
yes.
And
I challenge anybody that hasn't been to the Holocaust Museum to take a trip and witness it, because it hits different when you walk through there. And it's different to hear about it, oh, this happened, and it's like, oh, that's terrible. But when you walk in there, then you see the images of the bodies, you see the recreation of the chambers, you see they hand you a pamphlet when you walk in with a certain person, that you just who they were, what their age, if they survived, what they did afterwards, and and just the impact of going there and seeing it. I don't know what the comparison would be. I don't know which is more tragic, but it'd be like walking through the towers, the Twin Towers, the day after or something, and being like, just how eye-opening it would be to see, what it would be like. And it's, people that, say it didn't happen is crazy to me, because obviously it happened. There's so much of it that's memorialized, and the museum is good. And then you can go to the art museum and the air and space museum and then have a hot dog. So it's good.
Well, it is a weird thing to just like, hey, let's make this up that this happened. Like, why would they do that?
Yeah, seriously, why would they make up that? Oh, hey, these one group of people killed this, other group, multi-group, but heavily on one group of people, and then try to eradicate the entirety of religion, and just it's crazy.
It's crazy when I look at it too, Matt. Though it's like that's the closest we came to actually seeing like the atrocities of mankind on mankind. Because prior to that, we didn't have the vision of seeing it. We had the oral history of it, but we didn't have the vision of it.
Right.
Because it's like been a humanity thing. This even hasn't really been a timestamp thing. It's a humanity thing. No race on this planet that hasn't gone through some form of racism. No racism. No race. You can't find one. You can't find one that's uniquely to say, we never felt no type of prejudice to nobody. Every single race went through this. That's why I like Gangs in New York, because it kind of showed you that thing when they first came over, how the Irish was hated on by the so-called Native Americans.
Yep. Every group has gone through it.
Every single group.
Yeah. What's funny is I'm Irish and Native American.
Right?
That's my 50-50 split.
Michelle's a woman.
Yes, there you go.
Look at how this country tried to keep them down.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, and Michelle, and it's still hard in some areas for a woman in this day and time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But it's the truth. It's the truth.
It's pretty crazy. You would think that way, because as modern as we are, we still got like way far to go.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. But man, you see how that movies can spark that though, this whole dialogue.
Yes.
Yep, exactly.
Look at the discussion you get from it.
Man.
That's one of the weird things I always say too, like when it comes to kids, like you might not want to let your kid watch a rated R movie or whatever, but I think there's a little bit of an exception sometimes when it is history, because you need to like have them learn things truly and not like, oh, this was nothing big deal.
Right.
I mean, obviously, you know your kid, you know what they can handle. You would watch something with them, you know, all that kind of stuff. But like, I think sometimes people try to hide too much.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they overparent.
Overparent.
Yes,
It's
It's
exactly. It's
called
a good way to describe
sheltering,
it.
sheltered kids.
Yeah.
It's like you can expose your child to something without overindulging it and it, reforming their behavior. Like just letting them know how the world is to better prepare them for it, I feel like is
Mhm.
extremely important. Like to shelter them from everything, I feel is not good because then the culture shock when you actually grow up is hard. It takes, it's a learning curve when you become an adult.
Yeah. That's a
100%.
fact.
True.
That's
Wow.
a fact.
We are all in agreement on
Yes,
this.
sir.
Good start. Good start. All right,
Oh, man.
Larry Loper,
Uh,
you're number 10.
Mine is on Slumdog Millionaire, 2008. But what I loved it, once again, as you know, it's cultural because it takes me, and then I love the way they did the plot of the story, how it was based on real life events for him to get the answer because it was based on I want to become a millionaire, you know.
Mhm.
But in the Indian version of it, and it took me to India. Like if I never lived in India, I could have went to India through his eyes and be an orphan and all the things they had to do, you know. And man, you talking about hustle and just some crazy stuff they had to go through. Just like I said, I was in India, so that's always been a movie for me if I want to escape and just get kind of a view. Because I love looking at people that travel because I get to look at that land through their eyes. You know, that's for me. So that was, once again, I could watch Slumdog Millionaire right now, and I still had the same feeling I had when I watched it the first time.
Absolutely. The way that movie takes you from the moment to like to how he knew all of that information and how he was able to do that regardless of all the, let's say discrimination on the, he might be cheating, he's not, nobody, that it's just so cool how they do that. And it's like the movie's like, here, we're gonna do this. And it's like, oh, it's not just, oh, he's a smart guy movie. It's like, let's take a step back. Let's go from day one. Let's show you through his eyes, like you said, Larry, how it became about. And like, I mean, what a good movie. I got chills. I got chills.
The ending. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I remember I didn't want to see that movie. I kind of got forced into doing it, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, me too.
It's always good when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
The other way. Yeah. Oh,
that's directed by Danny Boyle.
Danny Boyle.
Yeah, he's a very good director.
Yeah. I love the way he kind of tied that together. It really was like, and it goes back to everybody got a story to tell. I don't care who you are. All of us got our own little story to tell and how we got to where we are today. And if you look at it a little deeper, that's what the baseline of the whole story was. Don't judge it by the cover. Judge it how you got to this point, why you believe the things you believe. And you just come overnight, especially at these ages.
Good one, Larry.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. All right, I guess I'm next. All right, my number 10 is a manly movie. That's right. Probably not on Michelle's list. Throwing that out there. But might be on Larry's. Might even be on Matt's. My number 10 is Braveheart, 1995. 10 Oscar nominations, 5 wins. Directed by Mel Gibson, who won Best Director. Starring Mel Gibson as William Wallace.
Yes.
And the plot is the First War of Scottish Independence against King Edward I of England. Love this movie. Violent movie.
Yes.
Manly movie.
Yes.
And it's one of those remote drops. When I see it on TV and whatever part it's at, I'm like, oh, let's put the remote down and finish this one out. So that is my number 10.
It's crazy you said that, bro. I just watched it. Literally. When I was sick, I was watching Braveheart. You got me through it. I promise you got me through it.
Freedom!
Yes.
I mean, I've seen it and I've liked it, but it's probably like a one-time for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
What? That's a classic.
I've seen it twice. The second time I watched it with a buddy who hadn't seen it, and honestly, if it weren't for the castration scene, I might fast forward through that the next time. But that is one of the most iconic parts of it. But as a man, it's like,
they snapped.
And he was the real guy. It wasn't made up. I mean, Hollywood, but
the movie was embellished, obviously, but I mean, based on true events.
Good one, Gil.
Good one. Matt, you're number 10. Breaking the seal.
10. Let's crack it open. So it's a 1976, another manly movie. Now, keep in mind, this is a unique list here. So it's Rocky, 1976, Sylvester Stallone. I love this movie because it's a heck yeah. I love this movie because Sylvester Stallone sat down in an apartment with no money, wrote this movie out, went to Hollywood producers, gave them the script. They read the script. They liked it coming from this man who was seemingly very unarticulate, and sold this movie to him with the condition that I'm playing Rocky. Like, I'm doing this. No, you can buy the movie with this contractual obligation that I'm the guy. And that in of itself jump-started his career. I like the Rocky movies. A lot of people are indifferent about them. Especially Rocky 4 when he gets the robot and stuff gets weird. But the fact that it spawned, 5 or 6, I think 6 Rocky movies and then 3 Creed movies on top of that. Correct. The franchise started off of that, which then spawned Rambo, which then, spawned, Cobra or something the fact that this man just thought it up, went to Hollywood and made it happen. Oscar-winning movie, spawned a franchise, a whole world. There's video games. I mean, crazy. I mean, the movie is it the best movie ever? Not exactly. It's number 10 on the list, but had to put it on there because of my admiration for old Sly.
Hey, Matt, he also made an anthem. He made the true underdog story. He made Philadelphia. If you think Philadelphia, you automatically think Rocky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the old statue, the stairs. He put Philly on the map for a while. I mean, I think they moved the statue from the top of the steps to the park, but it's still there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
Great movie.
My first of all, great movie.
Great movie.
I don't know how much it holds up now. It's a little bit dated, but I think, I still like it. I still get nostalgic about it. I remember I used to watch it on TV a lot with my mother, and my mother used to say, I wish more people, when they thought of Italian Americans, thought of Sylvester Stallone in Rocky versus Al Pacino in The Godfather. Mm-hmm. That's what she used to say. She used to say, because if you're not Italian American, too many people think that there's, like, if you're an Italian, like, how can I explain this? If you're not an Italian American, like a Larry, okay, too many people like a Larry, not you, Larry, in particular, but will think that all Italian Americans somehow, some way got a little mob in their family, a little organized crime going in their family, which is the furthest thing from the truth. Super far. Trust me. I'm Italian. I've been broke my whole life. Michelle's Italian. She ain't exactly rich. So I know this. So,
hey, Gil. You want to think about Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta?
That's an Italian American.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I never thought about mob thinking about, but then
it's
thinking about the Bronx
a lot of people do.
No, we do. We
There's definitely
we will.
Stereotype.
Because even Saturday Night Fever, he's got that typical Italian American thing that they like. I mean, it's why I always say I don't like Italian men. There's too much of that. But
stop with the hair. Stop with the hair.
My hair.
Maroon.
But I do I do love Rocky, actually. The first one.
Yeah.
One of the ones that came out, the problem is I don't know what's what anymore because there's too many of them. But one of the ones that came out that was probably like, so there was like the bunch in the 80s, and then there was like, was there a break between 4 and 5, or was there a break after 5?
So 5 was what? Rocky again?
5 was
Or was Rocky Balboa, right?
no, Rocky Balboa was 6. Then
Was
there was
6?
a big gap between 5 and 6.
Then that
'cause
might
he
be
got
the one that I
significantly older.
wound up liking it again,
Is
was the
5's where he
Balboa
fights
one.
Tommy Gunn, right?
That's where they had the street fight outside.
Yeah.
That's 5. So
I like Tommy Gunn one.
Yeah, the late Tommy Gunn. By
Yeah,
the
the
way.
late Tommy Gunn. I like that one.
Yeah,
Well,
that's good. That's the one where he did the speech to his son and everything.
Yeah.
His real son,
His real
who
son.
is also passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah, right. He did pass away.
So growing up, I pretty much liked all the Rockies, but as an adult, I kind of wish now that there was only the first one, the second one, Rocky Balboa, which was the 6th one, and the first Creed.
You ain't like Drago?
That at the time was a lot of fun. And plus, the Cold War, mid 80s, you kind of felt that. But now watching it, it's very Hollywood. It's no, you know what it is? 3 and 4, although they were entertaining, I like Rocky when he's broke.
Okay.
I like when he has to win because he's got nothing else.
Punching meat in the meat locker.
As the loan shark, by day and clubhouse fighter by night.
Right.
And
by the way, and this might just be me. I'm not speaking for Matt, Michelle, or you, Larry, but when I categorize Rocky 1, to me, that's a love story.
Mm-hmm.
The boxing, the all the other stuff, that's all second and thirdary.
Yeah,
to me,
right, was.
The chemistry between him and Adrian, played by Talia Shah, it's a love story to me. That's the first thing I think of. The two oddballs getting together. That's what I think of first and foremost before anything else. If you think about the boxing, you got 3 minutes of it at the beginning of the movie and 10 minutes of it at the very end of the movie. What about the other, 120 minutes, 110 minutes?
Yeah.
I was going to say a modern example problem, for if you want to call it a problem like this for me, but I mean, they're not on the same level of movie, but they just kept making Rockies and Rockies and Rockies, and a lot of them are crappy. And so a more modern movie that has done that is the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh yeah.
And I had never seen it and then had no interest in it. One of my friends swore up and down that at least the first one was good. And so I finally watched it and I was like, oh my God, that actually was a good movie. But with you putting out just crap after crap after crap, next part, people who've never seen that first one, they're not even going to think about watching it. And I think that does it a disservice, because it was actually the first one's actually a good movie.
First one's good, but then it became crazy. A car going through a window of a skyscraper and crashing through the other window of another skyscraper. Come on, man.
Getting hooked by the crane and getting swung over to the thing and doing the spin and
It's like there's action and then they're taking it too far
as they're driving 100 miles an hour. Come on, man. That was too much. So yeah, you're right.
So fun fact, going back to Rocky is, so the reason I like Creed because it's kind of an origin story for a new, and obviously Sylvester Stallone is in it as Rocky. 2 was pretty decent, but 3 I liked even with the absence of Rocky, because was it Michael B. Jordan? I think Yeah, I directed that and did it in a way because he's such a big Dragon Ball Z fan. The last fight, or maybe the last two fights, I'll have to rewatch, is shot like an anime, kind of like a Dragon Ball Z fight with the color scheme and the way the fists move and some of the slow-mos and then the quick speed ups of the fight. It's all action, and I was sitting there thinking like, this is good. And then like I went, and looked it up and everything. He was like, I shot it to look just like kind of like Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then like it opens your eyes there where it's like he really just wanted to go in there and make a really good looking movie.
Right.
Which aesthetically it was great. And then, there's the whole thing with the his musician girlfriend who's like starting to lose her hearing, and then all that, which is it's pretty decent. But I just really like the fight scenes in Creed 3, it was really good.
All right. Out of the three, the third one was my least favorite. I didn't like the second one too much either, but I love the first one.
Creed, yeah, the first one was good.
Gosh, the first one was good.
And the first one was the one that Sylvester Stallone actually directed. I think
did he direct it? He directed Creed?
Did he? I don't know. I know the last one definitely he didn't direct because the whole issue with it was getting away from what he originally.
Yeah,
I saw didn't want no parts of the last part.
I saw an interview where he refuses to even watch the third Creed.
Yeah, he won't watch it.
Yeah,
so Creed 2015 was directed by Ryan Coogler.
Oh, Ryan. Oh, see, I guess he ain't want no parts of the whole series, huh?
Yeah, and he directed Creed 2.
Did he direct Creed 2 on the Ryan? Yeah. So
Ryan Coogler, yeah. And Creed 3 was, Michael
B. Jordan.
Story by Ryan Coogler, but director Michael B. Jordan. Interesting.
That part.
Very interesting. All right, let's crack open number 9. Michelle, you're number 9.
My number 9 is from 2020, and it is called Nomadland. It's directed by Chloe Zhao. What I thought was pretty cool is that it is only the third film of a total of 5 films that she's done. If you have not seen Nomadland, it's really good. It's very it's almost one of those things that I could see a lot of people in my age group, friends and stuff like that. In a weird way, it could be some of our futures. And that's a little interesting. And it's a very good like personal type film, like very interpersonal. You see a lot of stuff about people and their lives. And Frances McDormand stars in it, and I believe she won the Oscar for acting that year as well.
Oh my gosh, she wins all the time.
Well, she's one of the good ones we got.
Yeah, she's a good one. She won from Fargo, and did she also win for that the Billboards movie? What was that called?
Yes. 3 Billboards and Evan.
That was good. I saw that.
Yeah,
I did not.
And this also won the Best Picture Oscar, BAFTA, and Golden Globe as well.
I know of it. I did not see it though. So
I think that was another one when I was talking about streaming earlier. I think it was a lot on the streaming. Like, how some stuff isn't fully released in the theater anymore.
Yeah.
And so like that's one that I'm glad that it won because it is an excellent film.
I'll have to check it out.
Definitely got to check it out.
Definitely got to watch it. I saw it on the list, but I hadn't had time to watch it yet. It's like, man, it looks pretty interesting.
I like when I read the storyline.
I'm glad it hit somebody's list.
There's a lot on the list that I have not seen. A lot. So I'm trying. I don't have time like I used to. I'm sorry. I apologize. Larry, you're number 9.
Oh man, my number 9, man, was shot in 1990. I won in 1997. Titanic. Titanic, the ultimate love story. The ultimate love story, man. It's the unsuspecting guy. It's the lady. Yeah, that part. Yeah.
Sorry.
Like I'm trying to tell you, man. Like it had me. Cause I first said, man, I want to watch a movie about the Titanic. You know, but the way that movie went, it had me. Like I didn't expect the twist. Like I didn't expect me to actually like the movie. You know what I mean? So how they built the whole storyline, that was dope to me. And it's like the true love story. You know, it's like iconic. So Titanic was, yeah. And for me, it was like the guy that you didn't expect to win got the girl, but he died. So he never got the girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that everybody acted snooty to him because he
Yeah.
was lucky to be there. You know, like he didn't earn his spot. It was like, he was so nonchalant. Like, oh yeah, well, I'm eating the same food you are. I'm staying in the same room you are. You know, dude, DiCaprio, the GOAT.
Yeah.
Well, before I let Michelle jump in here, because
Okay.
I'm not.
Do you really want me to speak?
I know what she's gonna say.
You're
I know what
to
she's
explode. I need to hear it.
My comment is, I did like Titanic. I have a story that I do not want to share on air about when I went to see Titanic, but I'll tell any of you in private.
Okay.
I told my wife the other day. It has to do with my best friend, and I don't want to out him. I don't want to. What I liked about the movie was I had heard prior to seeing the movie that when the Titanic hit in real life, when the Titanic hit the iceberg,
Mm-hmm.
from that moment to when it sank was approximately 2 hours.
Was it?
In the movie, when it hit the iceberg, I timed it. And then when it actually, like, the last parts of it sank,
Mhm.
was 2 hours in the movie.
Was it?
They were able to do that. Yes.
Oh, that's
Whoa.
dope.
So it felt like
correlation.
people really like aborted
Yeah.
time by time with it. Now, I'm going to let Michelle talk about
Yes.
Leonardo.
Do you really want me to?
Yeah, sure. It's your opinion. Nobody's wrong. What I will say, though, even though I thought it was a good movie, I can make a case that if we did the most evil characters in cinema,
Mm-hmm.
I can make the case that Rose from Titanic is on that list.
Is she
She is evil.
evil?
She is. You want to go through the stuff that she did?
Yeah,
What?
watch the movie.
Going
And
up on the
What up?
boat with one guy, cheating on that guy with another guy.
But she ain't like
that guy. Not
She never
being
liked the
on
first guy
raft,
though.
Let him die, and then taking the necklace and throwing it, being lost forever after they just found evil.
Yeah.
Evil.
If you look from that
Evil.
angle, that is a crazy angle, man.
Evil.
Rose ain't have to go that route. She ain't
Mhm.
like guy though. She never
Evil.
liked it on Billy Zane.
Hey, listen, we didn't like his character, but she was with him.
Yeah, she
And
was
then
with
she
him.
was with somebody
She did
else.
come on the boat with him.
Billy
With
Zane's
Leo.
better looking than
And
Leonardo
Billy Zane
DiCaprio.
never heard of this. Yeah, no, evil. She's evil. Go back and watch and pay attention.
Oh man, now
Go
you
back
can look
up,
from a different angle.
Yeah, you like it so much. Go back. Go back and rewatch it, knowing that what Gil just said.
That's
Go ahead.
America.
Mm.
And Michelle, what'd you think about Titanic and the love story with Leo?
Well, I think when you first contacted me about this, I think I said, "Oh, so like if we did our top 10 worst, I'm like, I would have Titanic
Oh my
on my
goodness.
list."
Oh, wow.
I mean, I didn't even have to think twice about that.
Michelle really doesn't like
And
Tom
then-
Cruise, Leonardo DiCaprio are at the top of that food chain.
Is it because why? What's the history behind
Well-
Leonardo DiCaprio?
Because he's just not good. The only thing he was good in was Basketball Diaries
That was
and what is the one? Oh, Gilbert Grape.
Yeah.
That was good.
Okay.
And there might be one other movie I just can't think of what it is right now that he was good in.
What about the
Everything
one-
else,
What about the one he won an Oscar in?
So many. The Revenant.
The Revenant.
Yeah.
You like
just
The
because
Revenant?
they got an Oscar doesn't mean they're good. Nicolas Cage has an Oscar.
No,
He
but
doesn't deserve
The
it.
Revenant, I feel,
I thought the Revenant was a
really
great movie.
depicted like I never was afraid of bears until I watched that movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, now I'm like, no way, man. No way.
No
and
way.
then the journey back and Tom Hardy's in it.
Yeah.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm with you, man. I like the Revenant too. Yeah, I'm definitely with you on that.
What about like The Departed and Gangs of New York and The Aviator?
Well, I mean,
Dude,
Departed and Gangs in New York, they're like
Catch Me If You Can.
ensemble movies, and
That
the
movie's
ensembles
great.
make it where he doesn't, like him sucking at least is made up for by other things. I mean, that's like Tom Cruise in Valkyrie. There's so many. It's an ensemble cast that it's watchable, even though he's the main character.
I'm with you a little bit on Tom Cruise. I don't know, man. I feel like my man Leo is literally like what do you, a chameleon, man. He plays the part
Sometimes,
so well.
sometimes people will grow on me, or they actually got better. Because I mean, actress-wise, I used to not be able to take at all Nicole Kidman, and she's come really far, I think. Like as an actress.
What about Django Unchained?
I like Django Unchained.
I love watching that because he gets his shit.
Yeah.
What about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? No.
Oh, that was good. That was really.
I don't even remember him being in that.
Oh my God,
Pitt?
Shutter Island.
I thought
Shutter Island
had more of a.
Shutter Island might be the other one I was thinking of that he was good
Brad
in.
Pitt. I thought Brad Pitt
were all
good.
good. Inception,
I remember
Gatsby.
more Brad Pitt than I did Leo in that movie.
No, Gatsby, no.
Brad Pitt won the Oscar for that movie, but Leo was the star.
Yeah, he was.
He was the star. Brad Pitt was the co-star.
So, I'm a little surprised that Titanic came up with you guys being all guys, but I guess I shouldn't have thought that. And
I like that movie, man.
We have layers, Michelle.
Part of the problem with Titanic for me was I knew about it for a long time before it came out. And it was being like, I kept seeing a lot of stuff about it, and it was supposed to be like the ultimate historical, movie about the Titanic. And it's not. It's just some damn stupid ass love story on a boat that they could have made up instead of trying to make it this thing. The only thing I always will say I really love about it is he does an excellent job with like the sinking and like that whole moment, like when it hits the iceberg and that happens. But I think it's just there's too much wasted on the stupid ass love story when I want to see the history. There was a lot of real folks that people really knew who they were. Like it, not to say anonymous people when something happens, but sometimes there's these tragedies with just very anonymous people in the sense that the world doesn't know about, and it's just I just can't. But I did see it more than once in the theater because I did love the sinking and stuff. And
that was me. It wasn't really the love story part of it. It was like when the boat actually hit the iceberg, and then all the signs leading up to it on how it could have been avoided in a sense, So when it hit, it was just like, man, I can imagine being on a boat in the middle of the Arctic Sea about, what I mean? Like that whole feeling of this boat is going down. And then the subclasses are how the people that didn't have the money, you was dying on, like you couldn't even get on the boat because of your status. That part is, it makes you look a little deeper into like, once again, humanity. And no matter if you was a kid or an adult, if you didn't have the money, you was dying on the boat.
And they were the first ones to die because they were on the lower
end. Yup.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah, some of that was sad when the mother was putting the kids to bed and the old couple were holding each other on the bed as the water's rising and stuff like that. Yeah, some of it, I don't know, how true, like the love story and the two main characters, that was all fake, but there was some reality in it. And I thought it was an entertaining movie.
Well, the old couple was definitely a real thing, and I would have wanted to see their story more than
Right. Yeah. All right. Well, Titanic it is. Isn't Titanic the #1 grossing movie of all time?
Is it?
I believe it. Well, I know it was when it came out. It broke records. I don't know if it got passed since then.
I think Endgame beat that.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
In my opinion.
Endgame wasn't even the best Avengers movie.
What?
No, it wasn't better than Infinity War.
What?
It was not.
What?
Dude,
My
was-
question is,
I'm
do
wrong.
they, when they
Oh,
do
what?
these things,
Slow. In the beginning, it was slow.
do they
Action, action, action.
do they do like a thing with the money to make it make sense? Because like there are insane amount of money that movies made like in the 30s and 40s.
Mhm.
But you know, if a ticket for that movie was like $2
Right.
and a ticket now is $20, you know what I'm saying? Like, do they do something where they make the money make sense? Because otherwise, then those movies don't have a chance, and they might actually still be on the same level.
That's an excellent point. I did not think of that, but you're right. You're right, because I remember they were comparing Titanic to Gone with the Wind.
Right.
Saying
Exactly.
Titanic passed ticket sales over Gone with the Wind, and they were like, "Well, how can you compare the two? You know, that it's one was."
I mean, if they're doing like
one was in
numerical ticket sales, like just like it sold, 500 tickets, like situation,
right.
then that would work. But if you're doing it by money,
Mhm.
which I know a lot of times they do, you got to make that even.
Right, like the cost of living then to
Yeah, like $1939 to $2020.
No, you're right. You're right about that. All right, I'll keep it moving. My number 9, it is very similar to my number 10. My number 9 is Gladiator. Came out in 2000. It was nominated for 12 Academy Awards. It won 5. The director was Ridley Scott, back when he did good movies, which has been a while. It starred Russell Crowe, who won his first Oscar and only Oscar, playing Maximus Meridius. And the plot is the Roman general, which he was, defeats German tribes, and shortly thereafter, Emperor Marcus Aurelius tells General Maximus that it is his wish for him to rule Rome and not his son Commodus. Commodus is angered by this decision and secretly assassinates his father. The rest of the story, we know what happens, assuming we've all seen it.
And you know what's crazy? Commodus died like that in real, like, it's a historical fact. That's how he died. He wanted to be a gladiator. And he was like, Joaquin Phoenix actually played that guy to the T. You know, if you did the research on him, arrogant, spoiled, that guy, right? And he died by a gladiator, a famous gladiator killed him.
Good.
Yeah.
He was a douche.
Yeah, he's a douche. He's a douche. He's a douche.
I have not, even though it's available for me to view.
Yeah.
I'm pondering if I actually want to see Gladiator 2. It got bad reviews. My wife said the ending was terrible.
Yes.
So it might be one of those that nothing on.
Yeah, bro.
I'm by myself. Maybe I'll put it on.
I saw it, bro. It was like watching the Gladiator again. It reminded me of the Star Wars saga. Man, you talked about it. How you trying to kill these old characters off, and you just kind of redid the old storyline. You just added a little bit to it. It's the same storyline, bro. It's like you watching the Gladiator in this version of it, though.
That's why I didn't check it out yet, because from the extended trailer, it looked a lot like the first one.
Yeah.
And that was, although it was good to watch in the theater, that's the issue I had with Top Gun Maverick, because it was just Top Gun, but in 2023 or whenever it came out. It was the same movie with pretty, they just made lookalikes of the same actors, Tom Cruise. They buzzed control tower, they trained for a mission, the guys were unsure, they executed the mission, they celebrated. It's the same exact thing. And that's, I'm like you, Gil, I'm staring at Gladiator 2 and I'm like, do I want to do the $15 rental or whatever? And I'm like, just wait till it's free.
Yeah. Wait till it's free. I promise you. Wait till it's free.
Again,
Yeah.
if only we had somebody on the channel that felt obligated to watch some of these movies and then give a review afterwards. I'm telling you, I would tune into that.
That sounds good.
I would.
You would need a charming yet delicately handsome host, but I don't know where you find someone like that.
Okay, well, handsome is an acquired taste.
Yeah.
And I'm not watching the reviews to stare at the guy.
I mean, that's good. That's good.
That's me speaking for me. All right, let's move on. Matt, you're number 9.
Number 9 is Michael Keaton's Birdman. What a movie, coming from a person who kind of likes the behind the scenes of movies and TV and stage production and everything. It was cool with the amount of long one take shots that they did where the cameras are following the whole thing is supposed to look like one single shot start till the one cut, which is questionable, kind of left up to your imagination of what happened. Like, why did the movie cut for a second when the whole film just follows the actors kind of from room to room, from doing the play to walking behind the scenes to walking out of the whole building, going around in the back door to the different scenes of the people talking on a balcony to now it's acting to backstage. To the whole film is one shot. It's crazy. And the craziest part of that is I think Jonah Hill actually has one of the longest speaking parts is what I'm trying to say in that movie. Mm-hmm. And they said that he nailed it on the first try. Like they kept it rolling. Now some of the scenes they cut and still made it look like it transitions in the same, and you can't really tell, but you can kind of tell if you watch it a bunch. Mm-hmm. But the whole movie is just, when I watched it, I was like, I didn't even know you could shoot a movie with no cuts. That's crazy.
No cuts.
Hitchcock did it in the 50s.
Wow.
Did he? Which one?
Rope.
I haven't seen that.
But Birdman is a very good movie.
It's well done, and I love Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
I didn't see Birdman. I know of it.
Yeah, I heard of it too, but I was wondering.
It's like quirky, and I like that.
I also heard that they do tricks when it makes you think that the whole movie or half the movie is done in one shot. That's not actually true. It's I don't want to say optical illusion.
It's camera trickery.
Yeah, it's camera trickery.
It is, but like one of the things, I had to do this in a film class once. They like have you watch, like if you really look for it, you can see cuts even in like things that don't look like they have cuts.
Yeah.
Now
it's still such a cool concept, you know.
It definitely is. Yeah.
Man,
I have not seen it, but what I do remember is the guy who directed it in the Academy Awards. I believe he won Best Director and the movie won. And in the very next year, he's the one that did that Leo movie, with the grizzly bear.
The Revenant.
Yeah, he did that. So
he good shot.
He won 2 years in a row.
That's a good shot. I like the way he shot that movie. Like I really like the way he shot that movie.
Mm-hmm. Like so clever.
It was great. It was great. It had me just. It's the shots of the movie that had me. Like,
you felt you was there. Cold.
Yeah, you felt it. You felt it.
Dude, the pain, the scars, the pain, him being unconscious, him dragging himself through there, and just man.
Yeah, it was great, man.
I made my coworker watch that movie, and he hates long movies, but he watched the whole thing. He said it was good.
I actually thought Tom Hardy should have won the Academy Award.
He did a great job, didn't he, man?
Leo didn't have a lot of lines in that movie.
No,
it was a lot of.
It was a lot of I'm injured, but he did it well.
But Tom Hardy made you hate him. Like he really made you hate him.
Yeah,
he was like Ralph Fiennes and shit list. Like you wanted to kill him.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Great.
All right, the number 9s are done. Let's kick off the number 8s. Michelle, your number 8 is
My number 8 is from 1999, American Beauty, directed by Sam Mendes. It's another one that won the Oscar, BAFTA, and Golden Globe. American Beauty is just, I don't even know. Sometimes I don't even know what to say. It's just an awesome, awesome movie.
Now, Michelle, what's the plot of it? What's the storyline?
There's a guy who it's kind of him talking about his life, like he's narrating it, and like he's kind of talking about the last maybe like 6 months of what's been going on in his life. But there's like his neighbors and his daughter and his wife, everybody's got like little storylines that intersect. And it's a very like, it's kind of like deep.
Oh, okay.
But it's like, you know, like with people deep, I guess. Like I know I'm not describing that right, but it was one of those movies. Like, here's an example. It's really funny. I was in college at the time it came out, and I had friends, and I was like, just come with me. You know, we were like 20 minutes from New York City. I'm like, I want to go see this, because in New York City they're out like 2 weeks before any place else. And same thing like with LA and stuff. So I even told them, I was like, look, if you don't like this movie, I'll pay for your tickets. So we go see the movie, and my 2 friends were just like, we can't make you pay. Like, they loved it, you know. Like,
I gotta go see it.
But there's a lot of like little twists and turns that you won't expect. Like, you know, it's definitely a good study on people.
Yeah, I like that type stuff. Yeah, that's me.
So this was the movie that I had as Michelle's number 1.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so it might have been her number 8. And I had it number 1 because I know she's a big Kevin Spacey fan. Kevin Spacey won his 2nd Academy Award. First was The Usual Suspects, and then the second one was this one, American Beauty. It's funny because I was watching today at work, because I drive a lot. I was watching our Oscar show from last year. And we were talking about Denzel Washington, on how he was really pissed that he didn't win in 1999 for Hurricane, and he lost to Kevin Spacey in this movie, American Beauty. This is who beat him. Yeah. So very different kind of movies. It's hard. It's and oranges.
Well, you know, that's like sometimes you get a time where there's nothing you can do. Like, I always like to reference the year that Daniel Day-Lewis won for Lincoln.
That's, you said it in the show last year.
Yeah, like if you happened to do something great that year, you weren't going to surpass him. So it sucked that you did something great that year.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes that happens, unfortunately.
Yeah. Like somebody got to lose. It's 2 great films. Like you
was saying, yeah.
Directions, but if you're saying it's deep.
And they've only had an actor tie once. I believe it was Katharine Hepburn and I want to say Barbara Streisand. Were they the tie? I know Katharine Hepburn was one of the 2 in the tie that they had. And now watch me be totally wrong, but I'm pretty positive that was the situation.
Katharine Hepburn, a little bit older than Barbara Streisand.
Yeah, but I feel like it was the only time there was a tie, and it was Katharine Hepburn, and I think Barbara Streisand was the other one for acting that year, but I could be mixing something up somewhere. I'd have to double check that on myself.
I'm gonna have to look that up, because now I'm curious how you can have a tie. Would they cut the trophy in half? Oh, that's weird.
I think they just both got one. Like, because I guess it comes down to like, if the votes are even, the votes are even.
Well, then you can't have an even amount of people voting.
Well, it's however many members there are, and if everybody votes.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I don't.
Everybody's got to vote.
I don't like vote. All right.
Well,
Larry.
For me, man, you just mentioned it, so I ain't got to elaborate too much. Braveheart. I ain't got to go there. It's Braveheart. William Wallace, great movie. Move on. What's yours, buddy?
All right. What are we up to? 8? All right.
Yes, sir.
So, this is one. Now, I did say, for me, my favorite decade that has the winners is the 70s,
Mhm.
and this is one of them. My number 8 is The Deer Hunter.
Okay.
1978, 9 nominations, 5 wins. Directed by Michael Cimino. He won for director. It starred Robert De Niro, and it co-starred, there's a bunch of stars here, but it co-starred Christopher Walken, who won the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. And basically the plot is, after a very long opening wedding scene at the beginning of the movie, the next day, the groomsmen go out on a hunting trip, and it's their last time together before they go off to Vietnam.
Oh,
And I'm not going to give away any more than that. But this movie, again, is like a Schindler's List, where it's a hard watch.
okay. Oh,
It is a hard.
It's
It's not something
really good.
you are not going to feel good as this movie's going on.
Yeah.
They're going to do Russian roulette at some, because they become prisoners of war.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be covering, your mouth. And even though it's a movie, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, please don't. They're never the same again after the war. And the ending just kind of breaks your heart. And it's got star power in it. John Savage is in it. Meryl Streep is in it. Excellent movie. But it's one of those that when I recommend it, I'm going to say, listen, man, this movie ain't going to give you that warm, fuzzy feeling.
Okay.
It's not. And as the movie goes on, that warm, fuzzy feeling is becoming less.
Oh, so they set you up with the warm, fuzzy feeling in the beginning.
Because of the wedding. You're at a wedding. And it's long. It's a long wedding scene. Too long.
I think it's an excellent depiction, though, and I think it's an excellent depiction of like exactly what was going on for people. Like, you were here, and then you went like here. It's definitely well done.
Excellent. I used to have it on VHS. I don't have it anymore. It's a good movie, Larry.
I'm definitely gonna watch it now.
It's a good movie.
I'm gonna watch it, bro.
The Deer Hunter. Matt, have you checked that out? De Niro?
I haven't seen it.
I will be watching it.
It's a good one.
I saw it on the list. It looks good, though.
Yeah.
It's before Walken did the cowbell.
What cowbell?
It's funny because I think you guys are picking a lot of like warish movies, or like Braveheart, Gladiator, this.
Yeah.
But it's funny because like Braveheart and Gladiator, I've seen them once. They're good. I don't have a problem with them. But like something like The Deer Hunter, I can watch like again. I've watched it a couple times actually.
But it's that first time I saw it, I'm like covering my face.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like I'm at the table, and every time they pass the gun around, and it's one less, because it's one bullet, and they spin it, and then someone's got to pick it up, and every time it's one less, they pass it to the next person. It's one less slot, one less slot, and I'm like, oh my gosh, who's it gonna? Oh, I'm getting that feeling now. I'm getting the goosebumps.
That was like the first scene that I like see when as soon as you said it, I was like, oh,
yeah.
As soon as you said Deer Hunter,
it does it to you. De Niro's like, no, not 1, 3. I want 3. I want 3. We're getting out of here, man. We're getting out of here. I want 3. You'll get it. You see it, you'll get it. You'll get that part. You'll get it.
Looking forward to it.
Matt, you're number 8.
Number 8 is from 2004, and it is $1 Million Baby. It's a Clint Eastwood directed movie about a female boxer who starts becoming pretty good with the help of a reluctant older trainer. And I don't know. Should I spoil it? Has everybody seen it?
I've seen it.
I've seen it.
Great movie.
All right.
Great
Well,
movie.
yeah.
She takes a pretty illegal blow to the back of the head and ends up not being able to move and has some struggles. And then the bond of her coach, played by Clint Eastwood, grows. And then, they can't actually remember how it ends, but very, very good movie. I remember watching it with my lady a couple months back, and It was good. It was
I
really
know.
good.
I thought Morgan
Clinton
Freeman.
doesn't do much wrong though when he directs. He's got a good eye behind the camera.
He
Yeah, I
does.
was gonna say that he's actually a pretty good
He
director.
really is.
I think he's a very good director, but it does seem like the last 20 years he's basically playing the same character.
Yeah, like the mule.
Yeah,
Hmm.
is he or Gran Torino?
Grand, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
He's
Well,
the
what I
grumpy guy.
he kind of, you know, he telecast himself. It's my movie. Why not
Right.
telecast the character? I'm
Right.
just,
Uh-huh.
you know,
well, what I do like is his recent one. He wasn't in, and it was a good movie. Juror Number 2 is Clint Eastwood directed.
You know what? I was supposed to watch that with a buddy of mine like maybe a week ago, and then the plans got canceled, and I just didn't watch it. I'm mad because I really wanted to see that one.
Well, it's on Max,
Yeah, it's on there.
so you can see it. You can still see it. I'm in the middle of watching Nosferatu right
I
now.
like that one, Gil.
Yeah.
I watched it. I like
You
it.
watched it?
I like it. It reminded me of Bram Stoker Dracula, kind of.
I was gonna say I just watched it, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I'm watching Bram Stoker's Dracula again." But I mean, the Nosferatu, they're like the same.
Are they?
Bram Stoker's is so good. And did
Yeah,
anybody
that's-
see
that's what
The
I thought I
Last
was watching.
Voyage of the Demeter?
I have it on Paramount, I believe. I haven't seen it though.
I would say pretty similar. You
Yeah.
know, it's got that vibe, but it's just on a boat.
Yeah, when they're on the boat.
Yeah,
They do.
it's
Hmm.
good. It's got the dude from
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know of it. It's on my stuff, my watch list or
Yep.
whatever, but I haven't seen it yet. And by the way, since we all saw the movie, how it ends, $1 Million Baby, is she begs Clint Eastwood
Oh,
to
yep.
assist her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he winds up doesn't he try and buy that restaurant or that bar that had that delicious lemon meringue pie or something? He's like, I want to buy this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally a sad movie. It starts good.
Nah,
though.
it really was, man.
It becomes
Yeah,
a
it
different
is sad.
movie.
It
It
does.
becomes a different movie after
Yeah.
that accident.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it would, right? It changes your whole life. The
Yeah.
whole,
Yeah.
I mean, it
Especially
changes
with the-
everything.
It's a legal blow too.
What a quadriplegic or something?
Yeah.
She's paralyzed from the neck down.
Especially when she's like, the whole time, she's like, you kept telling me not to turn my back no matter what. And I turned my back and she got punched in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I turn my back, boss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Heels.
All right, kick off the number 7s, Michelle.
Okay, so my number 7 is the one that I think you might be referencing, Gil, when you said that you felt there's one that would be on all of ours.
Okay.
So we'll see if that's correct.
All right.
1991, Silence of the Lambs,
Mm.
directed by Jonathan Demme.
I know of it.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's just an excellent film in so many ways. What I like about Jonathan Demme as a director is he's very diverse in what he does. I mean, he also did Philadelphia. He also did the Talking Heads documentary, Stop Making Sense.
Mm-hmm.
And he also did Melvin and Howard. I don't know if you guys know what that is,
Mm-mm.
but it's a movie about Howard Hughes, because when Howard Hughes was old, he was like a weird hermit. People thought that he was like a homeless guy.
Like
So
an
it's-
aviator, like your boy
Aviator.
Leo played.
Yeah.
Yeah. He played him when he was younger.
Well, also he was like he had the long fingernails and the mason
Yeah.
jars.
Yeah.
And like, because when he died, he left the money to Melvin, and Melvin had given him like a ride. It was just like, it's just interesting to me that Jonathan Demme did such a wide, but I think that's a cool way to be a director and not just like, I only do horror movies or I only do war movies. And I think that's what's good about Silence of the Lambs. A lot of people would think of it as a horror movie, but I think because it's so well done, it just goes beyond that. And I think that's also why it's probably one of the few that would be considered that has won like Best Picture.
Great choice. Great choice.
That's great.
The psychological
Yeah.
Or the psychological part of it that she had to really figure out. He was giving her the clue the whole time, and she had to really go back because Hannibal Lecter wasn't the type to give it to you like I'm going to give it to you, but I'm giving it to you.
Yeah, he's
So
got to
you
make
got-
it work, and he
Right.
speaks in almost poetry,
Yeah,
and you got to decipher what it is. And for
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins of all people
He's
to
a-
just sit there with that stare, almost a Kubrick-like stare.
He very few times blinked in his scenes where he was
Mhm.
on purpose.
Yeah,
We're off of the lamb.
movie is absolutely phenomenal. I love it so much. And I don't know if anybody has seen the show Hannibal.
Mhm.
No, of it, but the guy who
Mads Mikkelsen,
yeah,
Yeah.
who plays Hannibal Lecter, and the guy, I can't remember his name, who plays Will Graham.
Is it Hugh Dancy?
Yeah, it might be. I think that sounds familiar. That show, it's 3 seasons, and it's got all the movies like Red Dragon and Silence of the Lambs and the other one.
Hannibal.
Yes, Hannibal. It encompasses all of that in such a way that it's not too long. It's 3 seasons, and they're all so like nothing is wasted. They're so
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs is one of those that spawns all of that, and it's creepy. It gets under your skin.
Mm.
It takes you to another place where it's like where you would describe it as a hard watch. It's probably a peg below that where you could watch it again,
Mhm.
but it's not one that you would enjoy to watch, but it's one that you like watching because it does give you that ambiance of just the essence, and nobody can do it better than Mads Mikkelsen came close, but Anthony Hopkins is the man. He really
right. You know that
Michelle's favorites.
Buffalo Bill, the guy that played Buffalo Bill.
yeah.
The movie prior, not the new Dahmer that came out, which was creepy too, but
Mhm.
it was a movie where he played Dahmer back when I was like probably
Really?
a teenager. Yeah, it was called Dahmer. It was like
Okay.
way more like imagine him being Dahmer.
Yeah. Oh my God. So I'm gonna have
He's
to look
been in
that
a
up.
lot of movies. People don't recognize him because he's lost like his hair. I don't know if he's completely bald, but
He's on a lot of
he was
TV
in,
shows too.
first Fast and the Furious movie. He was the one. He was the boss who had the dude undercover. He was in what was that other Leo movie where he's stuck on the island where the prison is?
Yeah, Shutter Island.
Shutter Island. He was the one that gives them the ride on the Jeep.
Was it?
Call him Sport.
Okay, yeah.
Call him Sport.
Was he?
Yeah,
Mm.
that was him. Listen, he has a very distinct voice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So as he gets older, it's hard to recognize him, but his voice is the same. He was in the remake of The Hills Have Eyes. He was the father who drove the camper.
I can believe that.
Mm.
He just got that look, that feel. You
Yeah.
know?
He's in a lot of stuff, but you don't. If you're thinking about him as seeing him like he was in Silence of the Lamb, he doesn't look like that anymore. He's way older, less hair, but he's still got that voice. All right, where are we at? Larry, you're number 666.
Oh, was that the one you were thinking, Gil?
I can't give that away because if it is,
No, you could just say yes or no. But if you want to wait,
I do want to wait.
Mine, as you see on the screen, is Forrest Gump, 1994. Tom Hanks. Man, who doesn't like Forrest Gump?
Right?
Come on.
What a perfect movie told.
Like seriously, it was so many twists. If you think about it, think about it. He was supposed to be what? Mentally slow. He's not normal. Everything you saying that you're not. He did more as a non-normal person than somebody did as a normal person.
Mm.
And he made it very simple. It wasn't like as much as complex things was happening around him. For Forrest, it was very simple. And it just shows you just how you could just keep things kind of simple, and you'll be in a moment, don't realize you're in a moment. Like
Absolutely.
That's how I walk away from it.
sometimes it also is like, it's like when you watch that, it's trying to tell you like, you don't have to worry about it so much. Just go with it.
Go with it.
One less thing.
One less thing, man. And he accomplished so much in that movie. And I just thought that, especially with him in, like, when Bubba died, he said, "That's all I want to say about that." He knew that, you know, it was only certain. And then at the end of the movie, when Jenny died, you know, that was true love. No matter what, Jenny, because you know, Jenny went on a whole different path. She went on a path that a lot of us probably took.
Did she now?
She was on a different path, you know. So
well, see, now that was based on a book, and I had read the book, and I actually think, like, you know, sometimes they change things and people get very upset about it, but I actually think that was a change that was good because Jenny doesn't die in the books.
No.
And I think that actually worked better.
Yeah.
And they left out one of the things he did, like, you know, how he did all these different things. In the books, there's a part where he's a professional wrestler for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was kind of also something that was kind of like good that they left out. I think they did a good job. Like, it was a really good adaptation.
Lieutenant Dan.
I feel like I have a lot to say about this. So let me start off by saying I very much enjoyed Forrest Gump when it came out. Very much. The problem is, and I'm just going to give it away right now, Forrest Gump did not make my list, even though I liked it a lot. And
it didn't make mine either, even though I liked it a lot.
And there's two reasons. Maybe this one reason shouldn't matter, but it kind of does. Tom Hanks was white hot back then. He won back-to-back Oscars, Philadelphia, and then the next year Forrest Gump. To me, my own opinion, I thought Gary Sinise as Lieutenant Dan was way better than Tom Hanks was as Forrest Gump. I thought that role was phenomenal, and it really made me angry that even though Forrest Gump was the big winner that year for the Academy Awards, that they did not give it to Gary Sinise playing Lieutenant Dan. Did
he get nominated for supporting actor?
He was nominated, but he didn't win.
Do you know who won? Do you recall?
I believe, don't hold me to this, I think it was the dude from that Johnny Depp movie, Ed Wood, the one that played Bela Lugosi.
Martin Landau.
Yes, I think he won. And that's one of those examples that it didn't matter who was nominated. He got nominated. He was an old guy, been in the business a long time.
Okay.
And he gets nominated, and everyone kind of knew he was going to win.
I think it depends. I mean, I don't know if that's why he won or not, because Ed Wood is a good movie. But, like, they do stuff sometimes that doesn't make sense. I will never forget Cher won for Moonstruck, which is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion.
Last year. She wasn't nominated for Mask, but she wins a few years later for Moonstruck.
And I think it's like they knew they screwed up because Mask was so, you know, and I think they do that sometimes, and it's kind of silly, but that's what they do.
Yeah, that's what Larry and I named it the makeup call. We use the example when you should get fouled, and you go to the referee and you're like, this guy fouled me. Yeah. Next time down the court, the referee calls a foul. It's called a makeup call. Yeah.
That's like, you know, what's funny is to go back to Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs won everything that year, actor, actress, picture. And the funny thing is, as much as I absolutely love her and love her in the movie, I don't think Jodie Foster should have won Best Actress that year.
Oh, who do you think should have won?
Bette Midler was nominated for a movie called For the Boys. I know it wasn't as seen as other movies, but she was, like, incredible in the movie. Like,
yeah, she had that song From a Distance in the movie.
I don't think it was in that movie, but it could have been in the credits. Like, it wasn't in the movie itself, but sometimes they put songs in the credits and then it counts as like a song from the movie. And
I remember that movie. It was, I don't know. You liked it. I'll just leave it.
I think Larry would like it, hearing him talk about how he likes historical movies.
So that was based on a historical event?
And what's it called? Jodie Foster won a few years prior for The Accused, which she was like absolutely amazing in. So not that you can't win again. I'm not against that either, especially if you deserve it. But it just seemed like The Accused performance and Silence of the Lambs performance. Like
Right.
that's all.
Yeah.
That was really all there. Not to say that Silence of the Lambs was a bad performance.
So the other thing about Forrest Gump, why it didn't make my list, and this is the main reason, and I liked Forrest Gump.
Okay.
Most of it was Hollywood. A month later, another movie came out that was way better than Forrest
What
Gump.
was that?
The Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yeah.
Way better.
Oh yeah, Shawshank is such a great movie.
Way better.
Yeah, Shawshank was that was that movie.
Shawshank is
That was good. Andy DeFreeze. Yeah.
That's kind of an example though, like of these movies that like are really good and nobody sees them. Like I don't think people saw that in the theater. You know what I mean? Like
box office flop.
yeah.
But it made its money from VHS and cable because it's always on TNT and TBS.
It's a great movie.
It's on
And it's a really good movie. Yeah.
It really is.
I mean,
Morgan Freeman and them did a great job.
Find Me, perfect cast. It's a long movie that I wish was longer. Perfect ending.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Perfect ending, yeah.
Anyway, my number 6
Or
was
7.
already mentioned.
7. Are we on 7 still?
7.
No. We're on 6, right?
No, 7.
I think we're on
I was
7.
gonna say I didn't do my number 6,
Yeah,
so
It's
Oh,
7.
I'm sorry. You're right. My number 7 again was already mentioned. $1 Million Baby, 2004.
Oh yeah.
It was nominated for 7 awards. It won 4. Clint Eastwood won as the director, and Hilary Swank won as lead actress, and Morgan Freeman won as best supporting actor. So it kind of was the trifecta. I loved this movie. I loved it. Loved it. There's not too much more to add to it. It was Hilary Swank's second Oscar because she won a few years earlier for Boys Don't Cry, which was phenomenal indie.
Very good movie.
And yeah, once she has that accident in the ring, I mean the whole movie changed. Clint Eastwood's character changed. You really felt the love that they had for one another, the trust, how hard it was for him to do what she had wanted him to do, and how her family, now that she couldn't provide for them anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so sad, so good. I thought Hilary Swank getting herself in shape for the role, I thought that was pretty awesome. So yeah, $1 Million Baby, my number 7. I'm agreeing with Matt on this. It makes my top 10. I loved it. And that movie is 20 years old now. 21 years old.
Jesus.
Yikes. All right.
I can't even believe that.
So you're number 7 there, Matt.
Number 7, The Godfather.
I've heard of it.
Had to be on this list. See, 72.
What movie is in that?
It's probably nobody's heard of it, but this guy Marlon Brando, Al Pacino,
some guy, 2 guys never heard of day in my life.
So this movie, I feel like, was basically the ground floor, the foundation for all other movies that kind of came after it in that mob-esque type. Like you wouldn't have. I feel like, like The Irishman came out and was like 4 hours long, and
it was,
that what's it like Johnny Depp in Public Enemies, or Goodfellas, of course, Goodfellas, one of the best.
Johnny Brasco.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Departed.
What's the one with Denzel? American Gangster. Yeah. Like all of those, like Godfather. I like it mainly because of it spawning that genre of movies, and I like those like old mob things. It's just kind of cool to watch. And And it was a great movie. What a great performance by Brando and Pacino all together. And obviously you go on and on about the Godfather movies. Like 2 is meh, 3 is aces. And I like it again because of what came after it more so. But a great movie, and had to make the list. You can't do a top 10. At least in my opinion, without throwing the Godfather on there for obvious reasons. But yeah, what a good movie.
It's a great video game too. Have you ever played
They made a
Godfather
video game?
Yeah, it was a great video game. Literally, you had to work your way. You had to work your way into the family, and you had to go on missions. But the missions was based around the movie, so it was fun. If you knew the movie, it was fun.
Oh, that's so cool.
Like, it was cool. Like it was like real Dad and Scarface. Them 2 games right there. You had to be a drug dealer in order to play Scarface. Like literally.
No problem. Okay. Now we're at number 6.
Now we're at 6.
Michelle, you're number 6. This is your last one before your top 5.
My number 6 comes from 1975. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, directed by Milos Forman.
Mm-hmm.
Another Oscar, BAFTA, and Golden Globe winner. Just amazing movie. And that's also like, what a cast. There's so many people in that movie. I think sometimes people don't even realize how many people are in that movie.
It's a sneaky one, yeah.
Yeah.
Nicholson's crazier performances as well, starting to, the revolt that he starts in the, in the psych ward. It's what a movie, his acting.
Every time you watch it, you're just like, oh wow. Like you forget. It's almost like you forget every time how good it is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's very good. Have you ever seen one there, Larry?
You know what, my friend, because I saw it there, and my fault, y'all got to change that, but y'all know what I was saying. My friend actually was telling me about it, right? Because I was like, he said, man, it's a great movie. And when he was breaking it down, I was like, man, I know about it, but I never saw it. And then he was like, yo, it's really a really good movie. You gotta watch it. So that was on my to-do list to watch it because he said it was a good movie.
Yeah, it hasn't aged its way out. It's still good.
It's still good. There's a better version, and it's somewhere on this shelf. It's the written version.
Oh, hello.
I actually seen a Broadway production of it with Gary Sinise in the Jack Nicholson role.
Really?
And it was pretty awesome.
Where was my invite?
Well, I mean, it was probably the early 2000s. Did I know you yet?
Matt, if you can, hurry up on that time machine so I can go back and see that movie or that Broadway, that performance.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
That's a good movie. The guy, I don't want to give it away. Larry didn't see it. Let's just say the young guy in it who's in the hospital. He's the guy that does the voice of Chucky in Child's Play.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Huh.
That's him.
That is interesting.
All right, Larry, you're number 6.
My number 6 was from 1990, Dancing with Wolves. Kevin Costner.
I would have never guessed that with you.
I just said I like history. What are you talking about, man?
Obviously, like boring too, but go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think Gil does not like that movie. I don't get it.
You know what? My chick, he don't get it. Like my chick said the same thing. She said, "Oh my God, you and your movies." I'm like, man, listen, I like that movie because one, it was dealing with, back in that day between the Native Americans and the settlers' migration out the West. It was a lot of like, I don't like you, I don't understand you. So that whole communication, and he was left stranded out there. So he thought they were savages, and they're looking at him like he is savage. So it was just that them just understanding the culture of each other. So eventually he became one of them, and that's the whole part of the movie that I really liked because it was like they had to get to know each other. You know what I mean? And then once the army finally did come, he realized like the people and what you're doing is not right. You know, this is their land. You know, so it was just that whole period of time of this was their land, and then you literally force them out their own land. You know, either you gonna get with it or you gonna die. There's no negotiation. But we're gonna migrate this Midwest thing, whether you like it or not. So it was just that whole storyline, you know, and it takes me back to that period.
Yeah. I saw it one time, and it was on a road trip, a long trip, when you had the SUVs with the fold down DVD players for kids.
Yeah.
And they had Dances with Wolves in there. I don't know why my parents thought that was a good one for the kids on a trip, but we, nothing else to do. So we sat and watched that thing, and it is a decent movie. I will say they could have cut 40 minutes out of it, and it wouldn't have been much different. But
that's why your parents wanted you to see it, because with just one movie, it would make the trip there and the trip back.
And back, yeah.
It was long movies. Like I said, Gil, for me, man, I like to get lost in a movie, and you get lost in that movie because it's a long movie. You know, so that's definitely on my list.
I thought like the shots, like this, you know, I thought it was like beautiful, but I thought it was way long, like a lot of Kevin Costner stuff is. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the Forrest Gump. I thought there was another movie that came out that year that was way better. I thought that's the year that Goodfellas came out.
Oh man, yeah, what a good movie.
Dances with, it was nominated, but Dances with Wolves is the one that won. I'm like, you.
Goodfellas was in 91.
It came out. It was in 90. Came out in 90.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was actually older than 90 or younger than 90.
Confused with Casino, like a lot of people. Casino came out, by the way. So I'm gonna give you a little fun fact. It's funny that I brought up Goodfellas. I don't know the names, okay? So we got to get past that. The guy who wrote Goodfellas, okay? The movie, the main character was Henry Hill, played what's his name?
Ray Liotta.
Ray Liotta, the late great Ray Liotta.
Yeah, he just died a couple years ago.
Yeah. He played Henry Hill. Okay, the guy who wrote the movie. His wife, also a writer, she wrote a movie called My Blue Heaven, starring Steve Martin and Rick Moranis.
Nora Ephron?
I don't know her name. She has passed away.
I think it's Nora Ephron. I'm almost positive.
Don't know his name. I don't know her name. You can look it up. I'm sure you're going to want to look it up. So, Goodfellas, based around the character Henry Hill, which was a real person, but the story was very fictitious in Goodfellas. It was a lot of it was for entertainment purposes.
Right.
But the movie that his wife wrote, My Blue Heaven, the lead character is Steve Martin.
Oh yeah. I remember that one.
Steve Martin, everyone knows who's seen this, is an Italian guy who was in witness protection. Did you know this husband and wife couple who wrote two different movies that came out the same year are both based on the person Henry Hill?
I did not know that.
Steve Martin character, by a different name, that is based on Henry Hill, who was also the lead character in Goodfellas.
Wow.
So you know they were collaborating, but one's a comedy and one's a serious.
Yeah, My Blue Heaven's pretty hysterical too.
That's pretty great. You can look that up because I looked it yesterday.
Definitely gonna watch that. I didn't know that. That's crazy.
My Blue Heaven. That is supposed to be Henry Hill in witness protection. Yes.
I like that one. I know I saw the movie too.
Fact.
Because he put the league. They built the Little League stadium.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. All right, I lost place. Is it me?
Yep.
Number 6?
I believe so.
Okay, I'm not going to waste a lot of time because, again, it got mentioned. My number 6 is Silence of the Lambs, 1991. nominated 7 times. It had 5 winners, and Michelle was right. It is one of only 3 movies to win the big awards. It's got it won let's see here. It won Best Picture, Director, Lead Actor, Lead Actress, and Screenplay. Only 2 other movies have done that prior to. Did I write them down? I don't think I did. Anyway, and fun fact, Silence of the Lambs, when it won, and to this date, is the only movie to win Best Picture that is in the horror category.
But is that considered a horror, though?
It is considered horror, and it's the only movie to ever win.
I'm trying to figure out how is it considered a horror? Because of serial
To me,
killer?
it's like a suspense thriller.
It's like a thriller to me.
But I looked it up.
People use the term horror very loosely.
Well,
I don't.
I mean, yeah, because there's a lot of things that they could be like psychological thrillers, different things like that. It doesn't mean it's really a horror movie necessarily, but
I'm just going by what I read.
I never categorized where it's a horror movie in my eyes. It was like a psychological thriller.
Okay, you're number 6.
Oh, me?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Oh, yeah, number 6, again, already pretty much talked about it. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Jack Nicholson. Love his performance. Feel like that's the reason that he was picked for
The Shining.
The Shining. I was about to say whatever came before Dr. Sleep. Yeah, The Shining, which was great. Another Kubrick. And then I feel like it got him the Joker for the Michael Keaton Batman, being able to play that crazy, wacky, but also kind of serious and refrained kind of psycho. It was just great. Yeah, we discussed it earlier, but yeah, what a great one. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Love Jack Nicholson. It does no wrong.
Hey, Matt.
Excellent.
Who was your favorite portrayal of the Joker of all time?
For me, it is Jack Nicholson.
me too.
Is your Jack Nicholson?
Yeah.
What do you say, Matt?
So I'm one of these people that I like the comic accuracy. So I like the Nicholson Joker. Hated the Jared Leto Joker.
Yeah.
I like the Heath Ledger Joker if he wasn't playing the Joker. If he didn't take on that iconic role as the Joker, if he was just a wacky villain, I would have loved it so much more because his performance was good.
Yeah.
And as far as other Jokers, like my favorite one is like the reggae Joker in the series The Batman that came out, the darker one.
Yeah.
I know it.
The animated one, and then
Dreadlocks.
Yeah, the dreaded crazy barefoot jumping around Joker, and then obviously what is it, Batman the Animated Series with Mark Hamill.
Mark Hamill, baby.
So that, but it's hard with live action because nobody can really do that, and then especially the new one. I can't Barry Cogan, yeah, the new Joker from the Matt Reeves Batman. I'm already not going to like that. We need to leave the Joker alone for a while and focus on other villains. But in any case, yeah. Yep.
So you ain't like the Joker Phoenix Joker?
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix.
So I liked that take.
Yeah.
It's not the Joker, it's not any way, shape, or form what I would consider to be the Joker, but I liked the movie, if that makes sense.
I like the first one.
I like the first one. The second one, they jacked it all up. It all up.
Junk. They made it a musical.
Oh my god, they made a terrible movie. The second one.
Did you all see the ending?
I couldn't get to the ending.
You know what? I didn't see the ending.
I won't ruin it, but it ruins the movie more so.
I get to it.
Is the ending worth seeing? Because my wife saw it, and she had liked the movie until the ending. She said
the ending's going to make you mad.
Oh,
yeah. So
I was gonna say, I like the Joaquin Joker as well, and I had the same thing as you, Matt, where it's like, I don't think he needed to be the Joker. It just could have been told as a story.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly, it was a good movie. It just
yeah,
they keep taking these iconic names because they're big names and they know people are going to go see the movie based on this character, and they're like, well, let's make this neat movie, and it's like, oh, we'll just make the lead character like, you know, a Batman character or something, so everybody will go see it. It's kind of how it feels to me, where it's like, just make good original movies and leave. If you're going to do the characters, which is why I'm excited for this new Superman movie and this new Fantastic Four movie that's coming out, because I've lost all faith in superhero movies for the last 5 years probably. But these look like somebody took their time to make a comically accurate, good movie, and without just being, I don't even know, filling it with just hyperbole, you know, just putting unnecessary fan service in there for dollar bills. At that point, it's like, yes, it's cool to see on screen, but it's too much. It feels fake. It feels ingenuine.
well, they've been doing too much of the superhero movies probably for the last 20 years, to be honest. But like,
too much.
and
I
it's,
loved them until it was every year was
Every
2 or 3
year,
movies. It was like,
yeah, and then it was just like, you know, at least for me, I'd go and see something, and like the first one would be okay or whatever, and then I'd go see the next one, and I'd be like, well, this was just a waste of my time. And then it's like they keep putting it out, and I'm like, well, are they really making this kind of money? Because like, why are we doing this when we're not really putting out anything good?
Yeah, you're not challenging, like you saying, the originality, the vision. You're not going in there putting the work to actually come up with your own vision of it. It's like, okay, you're gonna just keep adding and adding, diluting. So it's like, come on, what happened to originality? You know, we already did the plot. There's
And
no
even
plot
like,
behind the plot.
I would be happier with like instead of having like 6 different types of Batmans or Jokers, there's like I know it's a kids show and it's like a Disney kids show, but I just think the little idea of it is cute and like different. Is like I think it's called The Descendants. I've never really watched it, but they're like the children of superheroes or something like that, or villains. I can't remember exactly.
so they're the children of like Disney, like princesses and kings and stuff like that, and they all have those kind of. I've roughly seen bits and pieces of them.
Yeah, like I
They're
just seen like mostly like
fairy
commercials
tale
for it, but the
creatures,
idea of something like that, I'm like, that's kind of a way to take something and make something new from it, you know, like it's a little more like maybe we should try to do some of that.
Isn't that a musical though?
Is it?
I don't know. It's a Disney thing, so I don't know.
I don't know if they're musicals. I haven't watched them that
It is a
much.
musical. I think if we're thinking about the same thing, I think it is a musical. But oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. What was the did you know that the director of the latest 2 Joker movies is the same guy who directed the Hangover movies?
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, really?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That sheds
Oh
light
man,
on
did he
things.
give me the assignment? Oh man.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Who's up?
Oh, Michelle, number 5.
Number 5. So my number 5
You got Bring It.
is from 1954.
Okay.
It's called On the Waterfront, directed by Elia Kazan. It's a Marlon Brando movie. I'm not sure if you guys would have seen it. Elia Kazan also directed A Streetcar Named Desire and East of Eden, so he did a lot of those big things back in the day. It's a very, very, very good movie. I think you guys would like it. It's a guy, you know, Marlon Brando was like trying to be a boxer and stuff happened. Kind of got involved with the wrong people. You know, one of his big famous lines, I could have been a contender. You know,
like, been somebody.
Yeah. It's really, really, really well done. There's a lot of little idiosyncrasies. Like if you like to look for stuff like that in film, there's like a whole scene where he's on swings talking to the girl. He does this thing with a glove that's just like, whoa. Like, especially just like if you're watching the scene happen. So definitely one to see. I think like with you guys liking Rocky and things like that, if you haven't seen it, I think you guys would love it.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
I have not seen it. I've heard of it for my whole life.
That's right.
This is when Marlon Brando was the #1 actor in the world.
Yeah.
So definitely got to see it. Haven't seen
Definitely
it.
do.
Everybody raves about it. So many other movies and shows have taken that line from I could be a pretender, could have been somebody, and used it. And it's from him saying that in that movie.
It's also filled with a lot of good actors that some of them you might know, some of you might not, but like it's definitely like one of those types of things.
Right. That's one of those
On my list.
that I've not seen.
That's on my list now.
You apparently got a lot on your list. I'm gonna need you to read them back at the end of the show.
No, I got a couple. It's only,
No,
only a couple. You two got me. Only a couple. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is one,
Uh-huh.
and waterfront. On the waterfront, that's two. Outside that, I think I'm cool. And Nomad Land. I was gonna watch that anyway, though. In Nomad Land, I was gonna watch that anyway because I like the storyline.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I would love if I get one that you guys say that I actually haven't seen yet. That'd be pretty cool.
Well, it ain't gonna be
Yeah.
my list.
It won't be mine. You already know me, Michelle. Mine is typical.
Ain't gonna be me.
I guess 5, man. I don't need to talk about it, man. We all done talked about it already. Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be 3 people now, right?
That's 3. If Matt say 4, you was right. If Matt say 4, you was right.
Mm.
Yeah, man.
Great movie. I know at least 3 of us thought it was worthy to make the.
I asked my friend to give me 10 iconic characters, right? Because I was thinking about Hannibal Lecter is an iconic character that everybody knows. There's certain characters that you just know, and that's why he always stands out.
Mm-hmm.
All right. My number 5. Here we go. It's The Godfather Part 2.
2.
The Godfather Part 2. Yes, celebrate. Came out in 1974. 11 nominations, 6 winners. That's double the winners from the original. Director Francis Ford Coppola, winner. Al Pacino as Michael Corleone.
Mm-hmm.
Robert Duvall as Tom Hagen. Diane Keaton as Kay Corleone. And one Robert De Niro, winner as Vito Corleone. I'm going to bring him up a little later with something. I won't forget. But so this movie, what I like about this movie is you got 2 storylines happening at the same time. So you're invested in both.
Mm-hmm.
One is from the past, catching up to present day, and you got the present day one. I thought the movie was fantastic. I think 1 and 2, you could almost make them as one movie. 3, I thought was caca.
It was terrible.
Terrible. The only thing that I liked about the third one was so the character in the first one, played by James Caan, was Sonny Corleone.
Yeah.
And so apparently in the third movie, he has an illegitimate child.
Yeah.
And played by Andy Garcia. And he played him a lot like how James Caan played Sonny. So I love that character so much from the first one. It's like they brought him back. He was like almost exactly the same. He just didn't look like him.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
He acted a lot like he was a hothead, all this other stuff. Other than that, I thought part 3 was terrible. So part 2, the 2 stories going side by side. It had more winners. 1974. My mom was disappointed in me liking this movie, but I did. I liked it. And it was, I believe it was De Niro's first Academy Award that he won. Don't know that for sure, but I do know that he won as Best Supporting Actor for Vito Corleone. That is my number 5.
Great choice, my brother. Great choice, my brother.
Matt,
Absolutely.
your top 5.
Number 5. 2017, The Shape of Water. I believe it was Guillermo del Toro. I mean, great movie. I saw this one in the theater. I went back to see it with the same buddy I saw it with the first time. And so Guillermo del Toro works a lot with Doug Jones, who is a man of many, many, many faces. He's, if you've ever seen a creature in a movie, he's probably the creature. Pan's Labyrinth thing with the eyes. He was the fawn in Pan's Labyrinth. He was I can't even.
Hellboy.
Yeah, he was in Hellboy. He was the squid-looking thing in Hellboy. I mean, he's been a million different things. That movie is basically a love story between this creature and this lady, and it's weird. It's surreal. It takes you out of reality for a while, which movies are supposed to do. It was shot great. There was a lot of attention to detail in the CGI work on the creature, so it doesn't look like you're watching some bad, like it looks real, like it's there. And then, you know, and obviously I love Doug Jones, who portrays it, and his acting makes the movie, along with I'm trying to remember her name, I had it up here, Sally Hawkins. Phenomenal movie. It can get weird.
Okay.
It has its moments, but well worth the watch. If you're looking for a movie that's totally like take me away from everything that's going on right now, say just a whole different, like I said, the cinematic experience is what it is. You sit there and you're in it, and then you're out of it and you're like, wow, you know, it's such a good movie. If you haven't seen it, highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro is like a really, really good director. And then, like, when you're talking about, like, for me, a movie has to be based in reality, but meaning it's reality. Like, Star Wars, you know, if I say it's based in reality, people are going to be like, no, it's not. Well, it is. It's in its own reality, and it stays in it. When you have something that's completely made up, but you don't stay within that reality, which some films don't do, it really messes it up. And I think that's one of the things that Guillermo does really, really well, because like you said, it just brings you in there and you don't get pulled out until it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like
absolutely. That. Takes you for a ride for sure.
That's on my list now. Okay, Gil, another one added to my list of movies.
I saw it.
What you thought, Gil?
Well, I thought it was good, not great, but I did think Matt was gonna love it, so much so that was my prediction for his number one.
Really?
So I am 0-2, but it did make your list, just like Michelle's movie made her list. So, Larry, you're my last hope.
Man, I'm already, you know I'm going to come through for you, buddy.
You're our only hope.
You know I'm going to come through for you, buddy. All right. And for Michelle.
Number 4? So my number 4 is from 1942, and it's Casablanca.
Okay.
Directed by Michael Curtiz. He also did White Christmas and Angels with Dirty Faces, and
I saw that movie.
I actually love Angels with Dirty Faces.
Yeah.
Is that
and he did the Robin Hood with Errol Flynn.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but like one of the reasons I was writing down those movies was because Casablanca has like a little bit of the same type of vein as all those do. And actually one of the things I love about Casablanca the most is Peter Lorre's character in it. It's just fantastic. Not so much Humphrey Bogart and Ingrid Bergman, which of course their story's good. And their story's good because you guys haven't seen it?
No, but I know of it. I know the catchphrases and, you know, all that stuff.
No, it's just like, apparently I have a weird thing. Most of my favorite love stories, they don't end up together. So, you know.
Like realistic.
Yeah, realistic, ain't it?
Really, like, so it's nice. It's very epic because it, you know, it has a backdrop again of war and different things, and, you know, having to just decide, well, this is the best thing for us to do, and then so we're gonna, even though this is what we want, we're not going to be together, and like, it's very good.
The problem with those movies, in particular Humphrey Bogart movies, is the smoking. Always a cigarette in the hand. Everybody's lighting one up, and it just
It's true to the time frame.
Yeah,
Time
that
period.
was
It was.
the time frame. They were smoking them
Everybody
sticks,
smoked.
man.
My mother told me, she's like, everybody smoked.
Yeah, everybody. Like,
I mean, even when we
everybody.
were kids, they still had smoking sections in restaurants, and then they finally got rid of them altogether.
Yeah, everybody was lighting up, man.
But it's, they finally learned, or maybe finally decided to listen to the things that were bad.
It's the
I mean,
best.
it's kind of like it's me going to bring up something whatever right now, but like, there's a lot of people who get very, very like butthurt about that they can't have a bag at a supermarket anymore.
Yeah, I get butthurt
And
too.
it's the same. It's the thing that it's like, well, maybe if they cared just a little bit more in the 60s when they were creating plastics, we wouldn't have this problem now. And so that's the same thing with the smoking, and that's why so many people got illnesses or died of lung cancer and different things, because nobody,
Where was the common sense? You're going to tell me that it took until the 70s for people to say, hey, you know what? This probably not good for you.
Well, if you look at the history of a lot of stuff like that,
feeling that first time and your eyes are about to pop out of your face, you're thinking to yourself, this is all right.
There's a lot of history though. Like if you look at the history of a lot of stuff, that's what we've always done, especially in this country. Like, oh, we're gonna not let you know how bad it is. We're gonna try to hide that, even though we know from the get go. And that's like, one of the most obnoxious things.
But Oxycontin's bad for you. It's
Mm-hmm.
not addictive. What?
That's like one of the modern day ones right there. Like, oh, it's fine.
That's why people get addicted to pain medication.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movie they had on Hulu about that. Man, Michael Keaton played it.
Dope Sick.
Yeah.
Dope Sick.
Dope Sick, yo. That one, man. Man, that was crazy. Like they would really run around, And what's the other one too? What's the dude that with the family, the big family that was the all manufacturers of it. And
was it the Statlers or something like that?
Yeah, Statlers, yeah, that one. And you saw that how they really promoted and they had freak parties and all types of stuff going on. It was like you got rewarded for many doctors you got on, and they sent the pretty girls out there.
There's just so many stories of stuff like that, like whether it's a family or a corporation or whatever, where they just were all worried about, we're just going to sell this product and we just don't give a shit
at all.
And it's you would think we'd learn from that because it's happened too much.
It was big business.
Yeah, yeah, that part. Yeah, it's all about the money.
It's all
about the money,
and that ain't gonna change anytime soon.
All right, man. My number 4, man. Man, I don't know, man, because y'all gonna shoot my thing down, Bill. My buddy. It's okay though. 4, Unforgiven. Clint Eastwood.
Oh, nice.
It was directed by Clint Eastwood, starred Clint Eastwood and Gene Hackman. I loved him as Little Bill Daggett. I loved him as Little Bill Daggett, man. And y'all know, I'm pretty sure everybody saw the movie, but it takes it to the West, and it was like him trying to outlive his past. You know what I mean? And this was raw, right? If you notice, he left his kids, right? Like his son was like, what, 10, if that? And he was gonna go for a while, right? He said, make sure that you take care of your little sister. The rifle is in the house. Make sure you take care of your little sister, right? I'm just saying that the times was totally different. Mm-hmm. Like you grew up like fast, okay? Mm-hmm. And it just like we were talking about earlier about rights of a woman, because it's based on that the woman was a prostitute and the dude took advantage of her because she laughed at his little peep, PG. She laughed at his manhood, okay? And ended up slicing her face. So it was a big reward out there for her. And everybody was coming to town, but Little Bill was running them all because Little Bill was vicious. Like, you come for that money, he wanted to show you that this is my town, right? And then you know, with Morgan Freeman and the young guy, he run around trying to be this guy, and it's a lot of behind the scenes stuff for me, because it's like a lot of characters, like people really don't know who they are, and they be trying to do stuff that's outside of their character till they jump into a situation where you like, oh, I didn't know you was like, I want to be a killer, but I didn't know how I was till you killed the man.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like he wanted to be this guy, he wanted to be this tough, and then you know, and then as soon as you know, Will Money, you know what I mean? Which was Clint Eastwood.
As soon as he killed somebody, he realized
He realized it wasn't always meant to be.
That guy.
It wasn't that guy, and because he was screaming, remember, he shot him, and he just finished him off. Did you kill him? Did you kill him? Did you kill him? So it was like that part, and then you know at the end it was a revenge thing because he killed his best friend Morgan Freeman. He died. It was Bill Dag. He killed him. So when he came back,
oh gosh, that scene at the end.
Yeah, that was the one.
Last one of you sons of bitches. That was so good.
He snapped.
That was so good.
What I liked about Unforgiven is I think it kind of like reinvented the Western, because I mean, for the most part, like I don't like, especially like the Westerns of like the 60s into the 70s. Just like so awful, like John Wayne, all that junk.
Yeah.
Fistful of dollars. Don't like
yeah, I agree.
You had the John Wayne, then you had spaghetti Westerns, like they were spitting them out left and right.
Yeah.
I watched a decent amount of them because I'm a big Jimmy Stewart fan, and he did a ton of Westerns in the 60s, so I would watch them because he was in them. Some were good, some were awful.
The man got Liberty Valley.
Michelle, did you like when Clint Eastwood was younger and he was in the Westerns? Did you like that time period of Westerns?
Not so much, but I don't think I've seen as many of his younger ones like that. Just like I've never seen his like Dirty Harry or any of that either. But that's because also like when Matt was talking earlier, I really like him as a director. I don't necessarily want to see him as much, if that makes sense. But I feel like the Unforgiven really reinvented it, and then things that have come since then have been really good. Like even the True Grit remake, like that was like wow, you know, and like a lot of the stuff that they've done since then.
What do you think of Open Range? I thought that was good. Kevin Costner for Duvall.
Oh, okay.
Annette Bening. I thought that was good.
I think I've seen that, but I didn't remember that as the title. That's why I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, like Annette Bening's a nurse, and yeah, you know, same story. Bad people running a town, bullying the town, and Open Range. Kevin Costner. I'm not the biggest Kevin Costner fan, but I thought that was a good movie. That was a good one, Larry.
Thank you.
That was a good pull right there.
Thanks,
what are we
sir.
on 4? Am I on 4?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Not very original for me, but I got to be real. My number 4 is the original Godfather, 1972. 11 nominations, 3 winners. There's not a whole lot I can add to it that we haven't already kind of talked about, except one thing, which I think we all know. We just maybe never said it out loud. So Marlon Brando wins the Academy Award for playing an older Vito Corleone. And Robert De Niro wins the Academy Award for playing a younger Vito Corleone. So same character, played by 2 different guys, 2 different eras in which that character existed, and both won Academy Awards for that. I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I feel like I had something else here, and I'm forgetting it. It's a personal thing. Sorry. I had a friend,
I wrote personal notes.
I had a friend in the 90s, and when I lived in Jersey, and his first son, he gave him the middle name of Corleone. I don't even remember his son's first name, but I just remember the middle name as Corleone. always sticks in my head, because when I hear people tell me that my son is going to get made fun of because of his middle name, that's the example I use. I use the example of my friend that I used to have in the 90s giving his son the middle name of Corleone. So don't tell me that my son's going to get made fun of for his middle name, because Corleone, that's a character name, and I think that's one to be made fun of maybe a little more than what I gave my son. So people who think
I mean, it's a middle name, so it's not even. It's not, like, I think in some ways it'd be worse if it was a first name. But
First name, right?
if it was a first name, everyone would know it. And everyone,
Right.
But
You
I
gotta
mean,
be my friend
you're
and
not
nobody-
Nicolas Cage and naming your son Kyle.
Kyle.
well, you know what? That was an option for the middle name for Leo.
But again, a middle name.
Kal-El. Middle name, yeah. It was.
Yeah, not too many people don't really know your middle name unless they're your friends.
Yeah.
Right. And my son's middle name is Skywalker, and his first name is Leonidas. So the Jedi King, pretty cool.
Yeah, Leonidas.
Pretty cool.
I like Leonidas. That's a strong name.
Yes, it is.
That's a strong name.
Not the regular run of the mill. I
Yeah.
didn't want that. How many Roberts do you know?
I know
How
a lot
many
of Roberts.
Michaels do you know?
Leonidas,
Oh,
man, he's
man.
always
How
going
many
to stand out.
Johns do you know?
Yeah.
How many Leonidases do you know?
Look, and it's a history behind the name. So
Yeah.
so that's
Let's
dope. I
talk
like
about
that.
the Spartans and the Persians.
Yeah, I like that.
Talk about that.
They like that. Warrior. He's a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're welcome, son.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank me later. Skywalker.
Number 4, Matt.
Number 4, No Country for Old Men.
That's a good one.
Nice.
What a crazy movie that is. So not many people can give you goosebumps quite like was it Javier Bardem?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was it a gas station in that scene with the cashier with the clerk. I always
It's your
remember
lucky
that
quarter.
scene. Yeah. This is the most it's the most important question you're ever gonna answer. And he's looking at him and that the old man did a good job too, and then throughout that whole movie though, with that stupid Lord Farquaad haircut, he made everyone he talked to so intimidated. You made the audience feel his presence through the screen. God, and he's been so good. I think he was in a James Bond movie recently where he was all messed up, and he had the scene where he had to take out his stuff, and again was great in that. But I mean, No Country for Old Men, what a classic. Me and my coworker, we like to kind of go back and watch different movies here and there, and that's one of the ones that I can actually get him to watch, and that's such a good one. I feel like everybody has had to have seen that one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Such a good
It's a really good movie. I think, but I also think a lot of people I don't want to say don't get it, but maybe they don't, they just don't get what's so great about it, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you my opinion. For an hour and a half, I thought that movie was awesome.
Yeah.
The last half hour, what the F happened? That's my reaction. You're building up for this confrontation between Josh Brolin and Javier Bardem, and it never happened.
It never happened.
Yeah.
Happens. He gets found dead in a motel room. It was the other drug dealers had come and killed him. It wasn't even Javier Bardem. So now Javier has to go to Josh's wife, and he gives her the option. Which, by the way, what do you think? You think he killed her or didn't? Because they never show it. They just show him leaving. So
I'm gonna say yes.
I also
I 100. I mean, I'm 98% sure it's a yes. It's one of them where it's like, I mean, why else? Yeah. Why else would he go there? Why else would he? I mean, the whole point of the movie was to, this conflict resolution type deal, kind of in an old Westy type setting. But I feel like the last scene of him walking away there and is just kind of solidifying my my work here's done.
Mm-hmm.
So I think yes.
I think he killed her. But the last half hour to me, like the movie, just like it almost felt like the studio rushed them to come up with an ending fast, because it was going like this, and then what happened? And then he gets in a car accident, and he breaks his.
They
arm
could have
or
made them
whatever.
edit it down or something too. There's maybe you should look into if there's a director's cut.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
probably is. Wasn't it the didn't the Coen brothers do that movie?
Yeah,
I think so. Yep.
Interesting. I thought it was a good movie that had the potential to being great, and it would have made my list if that actually would have happened, but it didn't. So didn't make my list. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, I get it.
Sorry, not sorry. Top 3.
Michelle, your bronze medalist is.
So my number 3 is from 1944. It's called Going My Way, directed by Leo McCarey. Bing Crosby's in it, and that's probably the only person I think you guys would know. It's kind of like the best way for me to describe it for modern, I guess, would be like movies like Dangerous Minds, where there's like kind of like a teacher or some kind of person in authority that no one thinks will help change the quote unquote bad kids, but really, really helps them. And in this case, he's like the new priest at the parish. And there's like just a lot of the, gang kids, but gangs of like the 30s and 40s. And it's a good movie. And then there's a Christmas movie. It's usually known as a Christmas movie, Bells of St. Mary's, which is essentially the sequel to this.
Oh. So when in the movie when the kids don't listen to Bing Crosby, does he take out his belt and just start whacking them? Does he start doing that? That's just in real life.
Man.
Oh, sorry.
I've definitely heard those stories.
Look,
Yeah.
You say Bing, you say Crosby, man, that's a trigger.
It's like, he should have like learned from his character how to be.
Yeah.
Let me pretend to love my kids and not judge them, and when they don't do everything exactly the way I want them to do it, not put these hands on them.
Y'all put them hands. What the Braun Strowman say?
Yeah.
Put these hands.
All right, number 3, Larry.
Number 3, my bronze. You mentioned it, my brother. Braveheart. Woo! That's my yeah. I don't even need to discuss that, man. It's a man's film. So
it is, man.
All day long. I like Mel Gibson as a director, though. I really do.
I got my Braveheart situation here, man. Every man's got to have a sword.
What was Apocalypto? You see Apocalypto?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I like Apocalypto. Yeah. I like that a lot. Like, and they spoke no English the whole movie.
None.
It was a great movie, though.
Great movie.
Yeah, so
a lot of the best movies are not in English.
Yeah.
What's the one that you did about Jesus? Was it Passion of Christ?
Passion of Christ. That was controversial.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was.
You didn't see the Passion? Oh man.
And I'm not religious, so
Yeah,
I watched it once. I'll never watch it again. I don't need to.
Yeah,
I don't need to feel like that again. So I'm good.
When I said they didn't cut no corners, they didn't cut no corners.
They cut something though.
They did that part. Yeah. So that's my 3.
Ooh.
Nice.
What you got there, Gilly?
My 3 was already mentioned. It had to make the list, but this is where I said if I made my own personal list, it would probably not make the top 10. Maybe it would be honorable mention. My number 3 here is Schindler's List, 1993, 12 nominations, 7 winners. Steven Spielberg as the winner, Liam Neeson as Oskar Schindler, and Ben Kingsley and Ralph Fiennes. This is a hard watch. It's a hard watch. When you see the kids trying to hide and they're in the porta potties and they're telling the one kid, get out of here, there's no room, and they got all over them. Oof. The one part that's in color, oof. It's tough. It's a tough one. And you don't have to be Jewish for it to impact your life. You just have to be a human being.
Human being.
Right.
Correct.
That is my number 3. Matt, you're number 3.
Number 3, one we've talked about quite a bit. Forrest Gump.
Okay.
I like that movie. I like the way it's told. I like the way, he's a block away from Jenny the whole time. He's sitting there. I like the way, like you said, he's going through all these different phases. He's a ping pong champion. He's in the service. He's a shrimp boater. He's a millionaire. He's all these different things. He's always taking care of his mom.
Yeah.
He's always going back home, had all this money and stayed in that little farmhouse. And I don't know, just the way it's told. I'm not necessarily the biggest Tom Hanks fan. I liked the movie Big. I like Castaway. I like, but I feel like you could have put anybody else in those roles, kind of, and it would have worked. Like, I'm not
You didn't
necessarily.
like Joe versus the volcano?
No.
I don't think I've seen that.
No.
Well, that's why like a lot of
didn't
people
see
try to
Bachelor
compare
Party?
Tom Hanks to like be the modern day Jimmy Stewart, and then that gets on my nerves because I feel like Jimmy Stewart could do a lot more than Tom Hanks can, but Jimmy Stewart was like your every guy, like everyone loved him, just the guy that everybody loves, and I think that's where they compare them.
Mhm.
But I think actor wise, and I'm not trying to shut down Tom Hanks by any means. I don't dislike him or anything, but I'm just saying, like, I agree with like what you're saying there, Matt. Like, I feel like he gets a little more than necessary, but he's also not bad. So it's like,
Yeah, it's not bad. I would say a lot of the roles he takes, you could have put a nameless, dark-haired, tall actor there, and it would have been the same movie. Not like he brought something amazing to it. But as far as Gump, though, I like the way more so that movie was written and told and shot, more so than Tom Hanks himself.
I agree. It wasn't Tom Hanks' portrayal of it. It was more just how the whole movie came together. And I believe it or not, Matt, the best movie I like Tom Hanks is a movie that really is, like you were saying, it's a Road Perdition.
Yes.
Road
to Perdition. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's one.
Yeah.
That's the gangster. That was the best one to me.
Yeah.
And the guy who plays his son is the dude that's Superman and what's that Superman show that's on?
Superman and Lois, the one that's on
Lois.
Max.
Is it not Lois and Clark? But yeah, it's the latest Superman show. He's the one who plays the son in Road to Perdition. What I like, I'm in agreement with you guys about Tom Hanks, but he does have range.
Mm-hmm.
He could play someone who is special. He could play a homosexual. He could be the clown that's at a party. He could be a sympathetic figure. He could play a tough guy. I mean, he's the muscle in Road to Perdition.
I think what we need him to do is be an evil character. I'd like to see that. I think.
Wasn't he a bad guy in? I'm half kidding here. What was the one where he has like an old black woman as a tenant in an apartment complex? Or wasn't it called like Lady Killers, something like that?
Oh God, that was like a remake of an Alec Guinness movie.
But he's a bad guy in that. He's like a bad landlord.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's called Lady Killers.
I don't think I've seen that.
I don't think he's like a bad guy though.
He's not evil, but he's like a landlord that's trying to get rid of a woman in his apartment complex, an old lady. I wouldn't say it was a great movie, so I'm not recommending you guys to check it out because I said, he's a bad guy.
I mean, it was a remake of an Alec Guinness. There's a big difference.
But yeah, when you made the comparison of Tom Hanks and Jimmy Stewart, again, my own personal top 10 list, Forrest Gump doesn't make it. But Jimmy Stewart will have 2 movies in my top 10. Y'all know one of them because I mentioned it during the Christmas show. The other one, Michelle might be able to guess it. So feel free to guess it.
That's kind of hard. I don't know if you're going like Jimmy Stewart in Hitchcock movie or like
Hitchcock.
okay, Vertigo.
Bingo.
Oh man, that was quick.
Because I'm
Yeah,
like,
that was
wait, this
quick.
could go a couple of places.
Vertigo are 2 in my top 10.
Yeah.
Vertigo is fantastic.
Yes, it's one of the best.
So good. And you know what? What is it? Is it Rear Window?
Mm-hmm.
That's another good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's another good one. Anyway, moving on. You talk about Jimmy Stewart. That's my wheelhouse right there.
We got the silver, huh, man? We got the silver.
The silver medalist.
Dorset.
Is it me?
No, Michelle.
Oh,
I
Michelle.
thought I thought it was Matt for some reason.
Oh yeah, I just did number 3.
They didn't know
Okay.
Forrest Gump.
So we're on to me for number 2.
Yep,
This is
number
kind of
2.
funny.
Silver
But
medalist.
I'll probably have to tell you. I don't know if you'll know it. Anyways, it's from 1952, and it's called The Greatest Show on Earth,
I
and it's
know
directed by Cecil B. DeMille. Jimmy Stewart's in it.
Is that
So
a
it's kind of
circus
funny.
movie?
the circus. movie.
Cecil B. DeMille. It was actually his second to last movie that he ever made. The Ten Commandments was his last film, and it was one of the 18 sound movies he made. He made 52 silent films. And The Greatest Show on Earth, I think it was probably like, it's just so great. And I think also it was such a big epic. They hadn't tried to cover anything, I think, like this before. And they really, I think they worked with the Ringling Brothers to make the movie. And then there was a lot of the stories of the people who work in the circus. And Jimmy Stewart plays a clown who never takes his makeup off. And there's a reason he never takes his makeup off, which is kind of cool, part of the like mystery and stuff that you see with everybody and everything going on. And I've watched it several times, and it's kind of one of those ones where like I forget about how good it is until I see it on again or something.
I saw that movie when I was 6 years old. I remember watching it on TV. And the reason my mother wanted me to watch it was because that coming weekend, I lived with my mother Monday through Friday, and I lived with my father and my stepmother Saturday and Sunday. That coming weekend, they were going to take me to Ringling Brothers.
Oh, okay.
It was at the Meadowlands.
Is that when they had the unicorn?
I don't remember a unicorn. But what I do remember is one of the trapeze performers.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the show. The show was great. But later on, like as she performed in other venues across the country, there was an accident and she died.
Dang.
Oh, wow.
So I saw her when she was alive.
Oh man.
There was an accident. You know, she was one of the ones that did the flips on, you know, you're swinging back and forth and someone's got to catch you. But usually there's like a net underneath there.
Yeah, no net. Yeah.
There was no net.
What? They did some more the Flying Graysons.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, then I think they cut the net on them though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was murder.
Not nice.
Not nice. Oh man, my number 2, you already mentioned it, Gil. If you know me, you know me. You know me. Godfather 2.
Okay.
I'm just, man, look, I love history, gangster films. But I just love the storyline though. And just how Michael was not supposed to be, he was never supposed to be the successor.
Mhm.
Sonny was supposed to be the successor, but Sonny was high-headed. And you know, Mike was calculated. And that's what I loved about the character, because Vito was calculated. He didn't just go off his emotions. You know, it was always like he's made the right decisions. You know what I mean? So I just love the way that they transitioned Michael. And like you said, it was 2 storylines. You got to go back to see Vito, you know, and then you got to see Michael and how you transition to this new era of the business into the gambling racket. You try and get into legalized gambling, which is a true event that really happened. So I just love that. Then even the trial, when he went to trial, you know, that really happened when Bobby Kennedy and all them was really putting the mob underneath the trial. So I just love that whole depiction. And then the hardest thing, he had to kill his brother at the end because his brother was so dumb that he didn't know that he was betraying him. But you had to, you know, Fredo had to go. Yeah. So I'm smart too. I'm smart too.
Yeah. I can do things.
Do things.
Yeah, great. I mean, fantastic movie.
Yeah.
And did you realize that De Niro spoke no English?
No,
in the
whole movie.
It was all Italian.
Yeah. I think one time he might have said, "Michael, you." Yeah,
was a baby. When he was a baby, he was holding him.
Yo, outside that, you right there and speak.
There was Italian the whole time, and you're right. He was cool, calm, and collected. Yeah. But he did go back and avenge his family in the old country.
He did,
killing that monster.
He definitely did.
Killed his brother, his mother, and his mother.
Yep. And he came back.
But he came back.
And he got him, whispering in his ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got something for you.
His mother's name.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's how you do it.
Yeah, that's how you do it, brother. You get successful and you go ahead of your business. I love that movie, man.
I love that movie too. Woo. Love it. All right, my number 2. Okay, I'm pretty proud of this number 2. It's in the 70s.
Okay.
And this movie might make my top 10, my personal top 10. I doubt that Matt saw it. I have a feeling, Larry, you didn't see it, but I have a feeling that Michelle did. This movie came out in 1979. It's called Kramer versus Kramer.
Yes.
9 Oscar nominations, 5 winners. The director, Robert Benton, he won. It starred Dustin Hoffman. He won. And co-starred Meryl Streep. She won. And this is about Meryl Streep. It happens right in the beginning of the movie. Meryl Streep starts giving a list to Dustin Hoffman on what to do as far as they have a son together named Billy. And here's a list of things you got to do for Billy. Here's when he has to eat, what he eats, when he has to get ready for school, and blah, 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 blah. And Dustin Hoffman's like, okay, whatever. She's like, no, you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention. And he's like, why? Why are you telling me this? And she's like, because I'm leaving you.
What?
I'm leaving you. This relationship is over, and I'm leaving you. And Dustin Hoffman's not really believing her until he sees that she has actually packed up and she is leaving. And he's like, you can't leave us. I'm your husband. Your son is here. She's like, I can't be in this relationship anymore. I'm leaving you.
Wow.
He leaves.
Wow.
And he has to be a single father raising his son. And then in the middle of the movie, when they kind of got their act together, a routine together, father-son, which does take a while, she comes back and says she wants custody.
What?
Yup.
What?
Yup. And this is in the 70s. So unless you can really prove something against the mother,
right,
they always have an advantage. And she wins.
And she won?
Custody. She won.
Oh,
she
man.
Won.
Oh, you don't know if I'm going to watch that movie, man.
I'm not going to give away the ending.
It's an intense movie.
It is awesome. And it makes me think of my father, because my father says he related a whole lot to that movie when my mother and my father split. So, excellent movie. But apparently, behind the scenes, Meryl Streep and Dustin Hoffman didn't get along too much because Dustin Hoffman is one of those method actors. So even when they say cut, he's still in character.
Got you.
And that can be annoying.
Got you.
Because unless everybody's doing that, if you're the only one doing that, and they say cut, and now Meryl Streep is no longer Jonah Kramer. Now she's back to being Meryl Streep.
Right.
You know, Dustin Hoffman is still Ted Kramer, and you're having an intense scene. You know, she said that he was still acting like a guy fighting for his custody of his son when the camera was off. He was still acting like that. That could be
Yeah.
chill out with that. So
You know what's funny? I watched the new Matlock with Kathy Bates, and so it's a law, TV show.
it's on Paramount Plus.
Literally, like the last episode, they were doing a big custody case, and the main like lawyers on the show are like probably early 40s, late 30s, and then there's a couple like almost like intern / resident, like the same level as like a resident doctor would be lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
And so the one main lawyer is talking about, okay, this custody case is like insane. It's very much like Kramer versus Kramer, and the two like intern ones are like, what? And like she's looking at them like, and I'm like, oh god, I'm like, if she's younger than me and she knows Kramer versus Kramer, and she's looking at these younger ones than her, like, what's wrong with you? It just was kind of funny that you brought it up, and then I just literally seen that.
Larry, these movies that you like, I gotta watch this. Watch this. Gotta put Kramer versus Kramer on.
Oh man,
At times it's a hard watch. It's very realistic, and it has a good ending.
Okay.
Okay.
You said she won though.
I did say that.
How's that a good ending?
Gotta watch the movie.
All right.
It is a good movie.
You'll like it. Michelle recommends it. How about you, Matt? Ever hear? I'm sure you didn't see it, but you ever hear of it?
I've heard of it a bunch, never seen it.
Well, I'm not indicating anything. Okay. But
yeah.
You got a lady, you got a couple kids together, watch the movie.
Gotcha.
Just watch the movie. Watch it with her. It's fine. Watch it with her. So that is my number 2, which would probably crack the top 10 on my personal list. I feel good about it.
Now the Matt, what should do say, Matt?
Oh, number 2. Oh yeah, we've talked about this one a million times. Beat it to death. The Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, there you go, Gil. You won.
I don't know if there's a whole lot more to say. I feel like I talked for 10 minutes about an hour ago about Silence of the Lambs. But
right.
100% on the list. 4 out of 4.
You was right.
That's what you were thinking, huh, Gil?
Love it.
All 4 of us got it.
Now, that was what you thinking, Gil?
I thought Michelle might get it because of Anthony Hopkins, and I really felt like Matt and Larry would just have it on their list because it's in their wheelhouse, especially Matt. I definitely thought it would be on. And
I weirdly thought that you might have been
the 4 of us. You have it the highest.
Yeah, number 2.
I was weirdly thinking you might have been thinking Godfather, and although I love the Godfathers, I'm a woman, so it's not going to be that high on my list.
I didn't have that. I didn't think Godfather was going to be the one, but I thought maybe Michelle. I thought it might have been the storyline, just how that part of it. Marlon Brando, just.
Oh no, I love them, but I'm just saying, like, I know that's very much one like men are like they could watch it every weekend. So that's why I was joking. Like, I'm a woman; it's not going to be as high on my list.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Which is probably why my mother didn't like them. And she was like, oh, I don't know what.
Well, they're definitely like I've definitely seen things like there are some women who like hardcore hate them, and I'm like, well, they obviously never watched them.
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
They are long and it moves.
No, they are
slow and it's dark. They have the setting very dark inside like a house and stuff like that.
I didn't get the Godfather honestly until I was about 19, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that. It was long. As a kid, my dad watched it, and I didn't like movies my dad watched because they were long. And like Dance of Wolves, I wouldn't have liked that as a kid because it's long. It's boring. It's, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's how I looked at The Godfather. One day I was sitting there and I actually watched The Godfather. I said, man, this is a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me 19 years for me to catch up to The Godfather.
So it's funny though that you said it's dark because like actually the one Coppola movie that I really, really love is long, probably darker than Godfather. And
can I guess it?
Sure.
Apocalypse Now?
Oh yeah.
That's what it is?
I love it. And so it's funny that you were saying all the reasons that people might not like Godfather, and I'm like, huh. It's the whole probably one of the reasons I love Apocalypse.
I like Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but I like it. It's good. I'll watch it again.
Apocalypse Now.
Did you ever see it, Larry?
No.
Oh, you'll like it.
Yeah, that's another one to put on the list.
Yeah, definitely got to put it on the list. What, I got
on
6
the list.
now?
On the list. You made the list.
Look, I got a whole weekend to watch movies, so I'm good. I'm put on my list. Y'all be locked in with the dog this weekend.
Yeah.
So, lady going away, so I'll be with the dog this weekend.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Man, so I guess we to honorable mentions before we hit the number one.
Mentions.
Run through them real quick.
I want to talk about them. The thing about Michelle is she's got a whole bunch of them.
Yes.
And then she's got to do her number one.
Let's go.
Well, so my main honorable mentions are 1983 Terms of Endearment.
Okay.
2021 Coda. Which is really excellent if you've never seen it.
Is that the one where they're deaf?
Yes. And that's actually only the third film of 3 films that the director has made. I had Shape of Water and No Country for Old Men on my honorable mentions.
Look at you, Michelle.
Yeah.
And Annie Hall. Big honorable mention one right there.
1970s.
Yep. And then my little extra ones had Rocky and Kramer versus Kramer.
Nice.
And then Platoon, Spotlight, and The King's Speech.
Yeah. Yep.
I never saw Spotlight, and everyone told me it was good. Never saw it though.
It's very good. It also could be a hard watch if you because it deals with a lot of abuse. But it's good. It's not like you see the abuse, but it has a lot to do with it.
All right. Well, what's your number one now?
So my number one is from 1950. It's called All About Eve, directed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz. It is a Bette Davis movie. Very fantastic. It's kind of like Meryl Streep is very much our actress of the day. Bette Davis was one of the ones of the day back then, and it's like one of the movies to watch her in. There's a lot of quotes from it that you'd probably be familiar with, and other things like the buckle up, we're in for a bumpy ride one that I'm not saying correctly, but I know you know what I'm talking about. But it's not even in relation to driving the way she says it. I should have written it down because I know you would know it. But it's also, which I think they've done this storyline over and over again because it's very much like the young ones coming in and it's probably going to replace the one who's a little older. And it's all about, if you're becoming insignificant or not. It's really good.
Bette Davis was my mother's favorite actress. So
okay.
I had to watch some Bette Davis movies. And the one that really stands out to me was the one with her rival. If Bette Davis was top of the food chain, female actress in her day, number 2 right behind her was it Joan Crawford?
Yes.
And they had that movie, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane?
Yes.
Was that the name of it? That's the movie I remember the most with Bette Davis. And it was Bette Davis, Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford is the actress that, I don't know if you guys ever saw Mommy Dearest, but that was about Joan Crawford. So they were the two, and they were miserable human beings, super huge ego, and they were always trying to up one another. And that's the movie that I remember most with Bette Davis. And she was when she was older, she was in a horror movie. What was the name of that?
Are you talking about Watch Her in the Woods?
No.
Okay.
No, it was
I love Watching Her in the Woods.
It was the one with the British guy and Karen Black was in it.
Oh God.
What was the name of that? They went to they bought a new house or a hotel or something like that, and it was haunted. Bette Davis was really old in it.
Really old?
Really old. The guy from the first Gladiator the one that got the gladiators prepped and ready, and he's like, you're gonna die to the hearing the sound of people clapping. He was British guy, and he died before that movie was
it, but
done.
I know what you're talking about.
And Karen Black. Everybody knows Karen Black from legendary horror movies and shows and stuff like that. Anyway, I can look it up and I can send it to you later after we're done. So
Sounds good.
I never saw All About Eve. At least I don't remember it. Bette Davis is, as far as cinema actresses, she's probably number one. Probably. I don't even know who you would compare to her now. Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts in the 90s was really big.
Yeah, she was that. She was a golden girl.
Meryl Streep would be up there with her. Meryl Streep. She's the one the last 30, 40 years that's been
that bar.
No, she's won like 4 Academy Awards, something like that. So, yeah, so it would be her. All right. That is your number one, Larry. Honorable mentions, and then your number one.
All right. I got Rain Man from 1988. $1 Million Baby. You mentioned it. The Departed. Leo DiCaprio, Matt Damon.
You okay, Michelle?
I know.
No, Departed I like.
I like Departed.
I just don't like Leo.
Yeah. I'm a Lord of the Rings guy, so Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. The end cap of that whole series. That was great for me. And I like Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer made my honorable mentions. I actually like Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real good movie. How they do.
Yeah, that's good.
And my number one, you mentioned it, Gil.
Here we go.
Know.
Here we go. Did I get this one right?
The Godfather. I told you.
Oh,
I got
it wrong.
The Godfather. What you had me at?
Gladiator.
Nah, I was Godfather.
I had you at Gladiator.
It's Godfather, man. That's my ultimate movie. The Godfather. I go watch it till I die. Like Michelle said, I can watch every weekend if we had to.
It's pretty good.
It's very good.
When I want something to watch, it's a go-to.
All day long. I get lost in that timestamp. I really do. I get lost.
Yeah.
So that's why it works for me. I really get lost in that time. All right, man. It's up to you, big guy.
There's not a lot of drama with mine, if you know me, and this was already mentioned. So I'll just say it. First of all, before I do my number one, my honorable mentions, I got Platoon, 1986.
Great movie.
Slumdog Millionaire, 2008. The French Connection, 1971.
I was actually surprised none of you said that.
Chariots of Fire. I just watched it last week. I thought it was great. And my oldest movie, 1961. I watched this a lot with my mother. West Side Story.
Oh, West Side Story.
Love
that
story. And my number one, no big surprise, Sporting the Shirt. The original Rocky, 1970.
Oh, yes.
10 nominations, 3 winners. And the one thing about this list, the actress that I featured the most in my top 10 is Talia Shire, who was in both Godfather movies and in Rocky. She's the only she's been in 3 of my top 5 movies.
It was crazy, Gil. The only thing that the third one that ever made any sense to me was her part. That's the only thing that made that movie good. Was
but all of a sudden she's in the family business.
That part.
Come on, bro.
Come on, bro.
But that's probably the one Michelle would like because it's a woman and she's in charge.
I saw the third one once and I don't even remember it.
Michelle, that's the general consensus.
Yes.
Is that
it's worth not remembering.
Because I definitely know I saw it. Like I think I even rented it or something like that. Back in the day.
It was bad. It was bad, man.
It was bad, but to be fair, the studio forced Coppola to make the third movie. He did not want to do it. He was under contract for another movie.
Michael didn't feel like Michael. He felt like Tony Montana or He didn't feel like Michael. He felt like
they just should have waited another 10 years to when he was old, and then they could have done it.
Mm.
They made him look old, and now that he is old, he looks nothing like that.
nah.
Yeah, I was gonna say he had weird hair.
Yeah,
I
he had
remember that.
He had gray hair, and
Right here, it was spiked atop. Like, come on, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he sounded like the dude when he was playing on The Devil's Advocate. He talked like him.
yeah,
I was
You're
like,
right.
come on,
You're
man,
right.
you're killing me.
You're right. He did. You're right. All right, Matt,
All right.
finish us off.
Bring it on, brother.
Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions are Unforgiven, Gladiator, Braveheart, Oppenheimer, Platoon.
Yeah,
Our-
All movies.
It's like everybody's honorable mention was Platoon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good movie. It just I
Yeah.
didn't like it enough to put it in the top 10.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So Platoon and The French Connection, I was like, do they make it? Do they not make it? And then for me, we just missed honorable mention was A Beautiful Mind, which I just watched yesterday for the first
I was gonna put that in there too, but
and what was and the Departed.
But it
Must have been my honorable mentions. They were
Nice.
on there until I had to push back Platoon and The French Connection.
mm-hmm.
So that's what happens. You write them down, and then you got to start weeding them out.
That's
Yeah,
it.
very true.
That's it. So you're number one.
Number one is The Departed.
Okay.
Did I just ruin it?
So,
man.
what a movie. Just one of the movies where if it's on, I'm watching it. It's just, and that to me is, I love all the other movies I had on the list. I like some of them. I love some others. This one is definitely one of the ones where, it's got Wahlberg and Matt Damon and Leonardo DiCaprio and of course Jack Nicholson we've been talking about all night, and just it's kind of got a little bit of that mob stuff we've been talking about, a little bit of that thriller.
Alec Baldwin.
That thriller, that action thriller, and then that little bit of undercover vibe and like the the relationships that happen in there and stuff, and it's just what a good movie, man. That's such a good one.
One cop is undercover, the other one's a dirty cop.
Yeah.
A twist.
It's an onion, man. It's got layers.
That's how it ended. Like, you didn't expect the ending to end that way.
Well, I didn't expect Mark Wahlberg
Yeah.
to
Kill
bullseye.
Wahlburgers. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Right. All right. I mean, great show. Anybody
Great
want
show.
anything? Or
Oh,
are we going to
man.
get in under 3 hours?
Yeah, we just made it.
Oh man, coming in close. I feel like there was maybe another one I was gonna mention, but I feel like all the other ones have been mentioned.
Like all the other shows, you always send me on missions to watch movies that I haven't seen. So now that I got some movies I'm gonna be locked in this weekend with the dog, like I said. So I got time to just sit here and get lost.
A little dork tidbit would be that 2 movies that won Best Picture have my type of dog in it.
So, Parasite. I forgot to mention that. I feel like that should be mentioned on this show. Parasite was great.
Parasite was really good.
My friend said he watched it. He said it was real good. And I was like, okay.
It's worth it. I put it off for a long time until I finally ended up seeing it.
I heard it was great, but I don't know if I want to read a whole movie.
It's
You
challenging.
read the movie?
Yeah,
it's in subtitles.
It's in Japanese. Or
Oh,
Chinese.
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, if you watch foreign movies, it's not that big a deal. But if you
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah, it's not.
then
It wasn't. But they're getting
What's
better.
not-
Like at some dubbing now, you hardly notice that it's dubbed, which is nice.
yeah, it's like Squid Game. Squid Game's dubbed, I think.
If
Oh, yeah.
if I can watch it dubbed, then I'm fine. But if I got to read closed caption the whole time, it's so difficult, man. Sorry, not the fastest reader.
Not the fastest reader. It's all good. You hit pause, you read, you hit play.
Yeah. Because that's not annoying at all. Not at all.
You and Rich, I can see how you get along. He's not that guy.
Yeah, we've hung out.
Yeah, we've hung out. Yeah.
I haven't watched that one that's nominated for Best Picture this year because I started it, and it's foreign, which isn't a problem, but it's also a musical, and that's kind of weird. Trying to read like the songs.
Yeah.
Oh, man, is it? How they do that one?
Yikes!
Because I'm like, oh, that's just a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot going on.
But it sucks because it sounds like it's a good story, but I'm like, all right, I don't know if I can do this.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the What's Good with Gil and Larry podcast. You can catch us normally on Tuesday nights at 9:30, but this was our special, the Oscars edition, part 2. I want to thank Michelle,
Yes.
Matt, of course, my partner, for doing the show with me. Good times, always good times. And remember to check out the Oscars, which will be this coming Sunday, March the 2nd. So, for my main man, Larry Loper, Matt Shackelford, Michelle Chaffatelli, I'm Gilly Rosari telling everybody, deuces, y'all, and we'll catch you next time.
Stay healthy, man. Stay healthy.
Yeah.
Heart.
Take it easy.
Do the heart.
Live long and prosper.